maybe the Diamondbacks aren't playing great, but the Cubs fans come out crazy. A lot of transplanted Minnesotians that I've met over the years. So it's not surprising to me that they have a big following.
No, not at all. They are hardcore, for sure. But nobody had that. I mean, I don't know that anybody thought Sam Darnold, who apparently has finally arrived 6 years later, or 8 years later, or whenever that draft was, where, I mean, that's the reason I divorced the Browns initially, because they didn't take Sam Darnold. They took Baker Mayfield. I don't think anybody had Baker Mayfield losing to Denver yesterday and a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix, but that happened. That happened. How about our boy, Bijan Robinson, shouting out South Point Catholic last night on the broadcast? I kind of figured he was going to do that. I was hoping he would do that. Bijan Robinson, South Point Catholic. And then when the Chiefs got the ball, Travis Kelce, Cleveland Heights, Ohio. I love it. I love it when they shout out their high schools versus their colleges. That is so cool. So cool that Bijan Robinson, his second national TV game this week, played Monday night, played Sunday night. Got a touchdown last night. Way to go, Bijan. Unfortunately, the Chiefs are still good. The Chiefs are way too good. And they won it again. They always find a way to win. That is Chief football. That's why they're the best. That's why you cannot bet against them to win another Super Bowl. Because when you got the best quarterback, maybe, I mean, again, we have these conversations yearly. We just retired probably the best quarterback of our generation in Tom Brady. But Patrick Mahomes already has a chance to do things that even Tom Brady couldn't do. And that's, I mean, like, he's winning these things in a chunk. And he's still really, really young. I mean, the Chiefs are eventually, you got to figure eventually they're going to be bad. But heck, I mean, you're looking at a quarterback in Mahomes. Heck, if he continues to play like this, I mean, he might go out with 8+ titles.
Think of the vacuum, right? So you mentioned Brady, but Peyton Manning retired, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
How about Drew Brees? What about Aaron Rodgers, 42 years old? Like, you talk about some of the, 3 or 4 of the 5 greatest passers in NFL history, all retiring within this section. And I think the guy who throws from every angle possible and fits it through these crazy openings nobody even sees, who has, 3 Super Bowls now?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty obvious that's the guy stepping into that role.
He's impressive. He is impressive for sure. That was one of the lines at the beginning of the season was like what his touchdown numbers would be this year. And again, he's not necessarily lighting it up from that respect, but the guy just wins. He just wins. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it is just incredibly impressive what he is able to do.
The question specifically, I believe, was, would Patrick Mahomes lead the NFL in touchdowns passing by quarterbacks? Currently, he's got 5,
right,
and Sam Darnold's got 8.
Sam Darnold. There's that name again. Sam Darnold. Sometimes it takes a guy. It just takes him a little while to find himself.
Some guy named Baker Mayfield has 6.
Yeah. There you go. Those and I think they were 1-2, or not 1-2, but in terms of quarterbacks in that draft, they were 1-2. Whatever happened to Josh? What was the kid out of Josh Rosen, who the Cardinals took in that draft?
Right, yeah.
He's nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. I'll never forget that draft night because I was so pissed. I was pissed. Well, of course, the Browns had the number 1 pick. That pissed me off. And then the Cardinals taking Rosen, that pissed me off. I was like, this is the worst draft night of my life. Because the 2 teams that I mostly follow now both took horrendously bad quarterback decisions, or at least ones that I did not partake to want to have happen. That was just, I remember I was out watching it at the old Trident 3 that night. And I walked out. I had to walk out. I was just so disturbed by the quarterback selections by the Browns and the Cardinals in that draft. Cardinals lost, of course, to the Lions. The story there. So I was at the game last Sunday. And so I 2 years in a row now I've been when the Rams came to town. Last year, there were a lot of Rams fans at the game. This year, there weren't maybe as many because it was opening night, so I think most of the Cardinals fans kept their tickets. But apparently, the last week was not good enough because the lower bowl season ticket holders sold out. They sold out to the Lions fans yesterday because it was an unbelievable amount of blue in the lower bowl at State Farm Stadium yesterday. Sad. After the way that team played in week 2, a career day by Kyler Murray, so career, they sent his jersey next stop, Canton, Ohio. And y'all sold out that team like that? That's horrible. That's horrible. And I don't even want to talk about Los Angeles. Jeez. Talk about, it was like red and blue. Too much blue in Arizona. Too much red in Los Angeles yesterday. What are we doing? NFL fan, what are we doing here? I mean, I know those tickets are expensive. You pay a boatload. Trust me, I had season tickets to an NFL team. But wow.
So there's 8 home games, right? So it's probably got to be a situation where people circle a couple on the calendar, right? Got to make it to those 2. The other 6, if we find out the week of that those tickets are going for 190% or whatever face value, it's business, right?
I guess so.
It's like Ticketmaster.
I guess so. Yeah, both of those locations were sad. So if you're a Cardinal fan, I want to hear from you. If you were at the game, if you went to the Cardinals game yesterday, 520-848-1290, and let me know what you thought, how you felt, seeing all that blue in the lower bowl. All right, we got a lot to get to on this show today. We'll recap some things that happened over the weekend. We'll let you hear from Brent Brennan. He spoke today. We talked tight ends with Brent Brennan. Adia Barnes also spoke. We're hoping to bring you her comments today. It's basketball season. I was watching basketball practice today. Whew, how about that? October is here. It is here. All right, getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With that roadwork continuing midtown, expect backups eastbound and westbound on Grant Road, east of Country Club to east of Alvernon, way down to 1 lane. It's widening work, and also in association with that project, Dodge Boulevard south of Grant Road is closed. 101 tomorrow, 103 on Wednesday, and 97 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Tune in each weekday from noon to 3 p.m. for The Rich Eisen Show, right here on Tucson's home of Arizona Wildcats football.
Touchdown, Arizona!
And the National Football League. Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Tune in to DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290 Thursday afternoons,
To compete in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge, where you could win money by placing a bet on the right team this football season.
Hey, Wildcat fans,
Wildcats
Arizona
Radio.
football is here. Catch head coach Brent Brennan as the Wildcats enter their inaugural season of the Big 12 Conference. We need you to be part of the action, filling the stands and cheering on Arizona. Secure your seats for all 7 home games with season tickets, or pick the plan that is best for you by calling the ticket office at 520-621-2287 or visiting ArizonaWildcats.com/FB. Lock in your tickets today. We'll see you at Arizona Stadium. Bear down. Go Cats.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
Joel McHale, live.
It was colder in Winnipeg than it was on Mars. What did the people of Winnipeg do when it was colder there than Mars differently? Nothing. They sent their kids to school. They were just like, run!
As seen on Netflix. Friday, October 18th, 8 p.m. Diamond Center at Desert Diamond Casino Sahuarita. Tickets on sale now at the Reward Center or online at etix.com. Don't miss Joel McHale, live.
O'Reilly. Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 15% off a set of Brake Best Select, Select Pro, or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors. Restore quality braking and improve stopping performance with parts and advice from the professional parts people. Save money now when you visit O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Don't miss a minute of the best Arizona Wildcats coverage in town. Tell Alexa, play Wildcats Radio 1290. This is your home of Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. Ask the Raiders, a.k.a. the team that flew across the country to beat the reigning MVP and the Ravens in their own house last week, only to come home and get mugged by the Panthers. What I saw was Andy Dalton absolutely eviscerating the Raiders. That's right, no Red Ryder BB gun this time. This dude went full-on Red Rifle howitzer on the Raiders. How about this for a stat? Name the one player in the NFL so far this season who has put up a 300-yard, 3-touchdown passing game. Oh, wait. Andy freaking Dalton if you need him. Turns out this offense is not completely hopeless and completely doomed. And is there anyone anywhere who doesn't think that the Panthers got it right when they bench Bryce Young? Great win for them. Horrific loss for the Raiders.
O'Reilly. You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto
Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Before you tour a home, the real estate professional you're working with may ask you to sign a buyer's agreement, which describes the services you'll receive, each party's role and responsibilities, and how your agent will be compensated, all of which you'll want to discuss with them up front. So work with an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors with a duty to honestly represent you and put your interests above their own, because that's who we are.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number if you're watching the stream on any of our video streaming platforms. You know that my camera likes to follow me out of the room. And so sometimes it is facing in the other direction. So you can watch this program. You can watch the camera follow me when I get up at YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch, all those great places.
And that's because prior to sitting down in that chair, somebody decided they would repurpose their pet camera, which is meant to follow pets around the room when nobody's in the building, for that chair. So.
Do you have one of those? You have pet cameras? Are you
I
that
do
kind
not
of
know.
pet parent?
I've thought about it, but our pets are not the ones. It's that idea where you come home from work, you've been at work for 9 hours, and you've got sandals and shoes torn to pieces, and you got 3 dogs,
right?
And they all have the guilty look on their face. So you put a camera in there to make sure you can figure out which of the 3 is really tearing up all your shoes, or if it's all 3 of them. We don't have that kind of. They don't want to have. Our dogs don't do that kind of stuff. So.
Well, that's good. The dogs that don't tear stuff up, those are the kind of dogs I think that you want to have. For sure.
Yeah, human element has a lot to do with that. It's how you raise the dogs, generally.
Well, it was a sad weekend on one account as we lost an absolute Arizona sports treasure on Saturday when the Phoenix Suns announced the passing of longtime play-by-play announcer Al McCoy. We've got a number of different highlights from Al that we'll play throughout the show today. Let's hear this one. Which was his famed call of a buzzer beater by Stephon Marbury.
Waiting for Duncan's second free throw. It is up, and it's not good, but the rebound's knocked to the side. Marbury has it. Marbury on the drive. Marbury puts a shot up. It goes! It goes! And the Suns have won the ball game. A three-pointer by Stephon Marbury. Do you believe it? And the Suns run off the court winners. Ho-ho! Wow! Stephon Marbury, calm, cool, collected.
I did not grow up here in Arizona, but obviously I've lived here for the last 16 years. I was well aware of who Al McCoy was before I moved here as someone who, got into this industry to do play-by-play and did a lot of play-by-play early in my career and followed play-by-play announcers and reached out to a lot of play-by-play announcers. I often tell this story, and I'll have to go find this letter. I have it in my storage, and I'll have to go find it so I can read it verbatim at some point on the air. But as a young broadcaster, I sent out a lot of letters to different teams. And back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, late 80s, early 90s, you would just send stuff to teams and said, hey, if take a listen, let me know what you think. That kind of thing. And a lot of times these tapes would end up in the hands of the play-by-play announcers. And sometimes you would directly send it to the play-by-play announcer at the club, especially if he was maybe somebody that was in charge of some of the hiring, whether it was pregame shows and that kind of thing. And the Suns were one of the many teams that I sent a tape out to back in the early 1990s. And occasionally you might get a letter back from a broadcaster, and more oftentimes than not, you did not get a letter back. I probably can count on 2 hands the numbers of letters that I got back from tapes that I sent to, whether it was an MLB team or an NBA team or an NFL team. But one of the letters I still have is the letter that I got from Al McCoy. And just, again, a genuine critique of the tape that I sent him, telling me some of the things that I needed to work on as a young play-by-play man coming up. But you always appreciate the guys that you look up to who are in the roles that you aspire to be in. And when they take the time out And I've heard this story that I have so many different times from other broadcasters about how that's who Al McCoy was. He was the guy that, would take time out to pop a tape in from some kid that he didn't know from, somewhere across the country, listen. And then again, this was back in the 90s when it wasn't like you write an email. I mean, he sat down and wrote a letter, and it was not a short letter. It was not, hey, I appreciate you sending me this. I mean, he literally, I think he wrote both sides of the sheet, filled up both sides of the sheet in this letter. And I always appreciated, some of those things you keep, some of those things you throw away. But again, like I said, that was one from Al McCoy that I kept and still have in my storage unit.
I think, DK, it's as simple as it doesn't matter broadcasting any industry. A lot of people see it as a situation of Brett Favre teaching Aaron Rodgers how to quarterback. So there's something to be said about teaching somebody who's of a similar age, who potentially could threaten to take your job from you eminently if you were to teach them all of your secrets. And Al McCoy, to me, always struck me as the kind of person that was just very generous with his knowledge and his time. So that letter you're talking about getting written back from him just feels like exactly who he was. He was so generous, really just wanted the best and wanted broadcasting as a whole to grow and for everybody to have that opportunity. So rather than be stingy with whatever information or knowledge or hints and tips he might have for a young broadcaster, he was generous to giving that information and helping you along your way.
Absolutely. And I remember the first time I had an opportunity to get up to a Suns game, I think it was probably when I started working in TV around 2011, 2012. I absolutely made the point to try to get there a little early to seek him out before he got busy, just to thank him, say, hey, thank you for taking the time out to write a letter like that to a young broadcaster. And, he was thrilled that I was working in the business. He was thrilled that I was working here in the state of Arizona in the business. And, I said, if there was ever anything I ever needed, to be sure not to hesitate to reach out again. And so, again, I'm sure we all have, maybe not everybody has an opportunity to have a personal story about Al McCoy but again, if you listened to one game that man called, then you have a personal story as somebody who grew up here in Arizona and loved the Phoenix Suns and followed everything that they've done in their history, the longest standing team. In fact, let's hear one of the greatest calls from Al McCoy. Did not lead to ultimately a Phoenix Suns win, but one of the greatest moments in Suns playoff history.
1 second remaining in the second overtime. Here's Perry to Gar Hurd. Here's the jump shot. Good! It's good! It counts! Gar Hurd ties it. We'll go to the third overtime. I got to take a breather. I want to tell you something. Somebody up there is on our side.
Yeah, the thing about that shot that's so great, DK, is nobody in the building thought that was going in. Like his genuine shock, because that was about as, cloud scraping a jump shot as one can have. I mean, Gar Hurd shot that over the outstretched arms of a defender in the third overtime to tie that game. It was such a miracle type of shot. And, I think one thing I haven't mentioned is that Al McCoy has such a unique delivery. And that must be what drew you to him when you were a young broadcaster and you were talking about seeking out help and advice from other broadcasters. He was his own man, the way he called things, and that genuine excitement, allowing that genuine nature to come through on the broadcast always is what endeared me to Al McCoy's calls.
Of course, that was the finals, the NBA finals in 1976.
Celtics, right?
Yeah, the Phoenix Suns and the Boston Celtics. Just an unbelievable triple overtime game. That the Suns obviously would go on to lose by 128 to 126 in Game 5, and then the Celtics would come back to the desert and close it out in Game 6 to win the series 4-2. But again, that was that I think a lot of I believe that was year 10, let's see, count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was the 8th year of the franchise. And that was not, again, that was a team that finished 42-40 overall, but caught fire in the playoffs and then started. That was the beginning of those great Suns teams of the early 80s that went to, 8 straight consecutive postseasons and really began to put themselves in the conversation of being a title contender in the Western Conference. And so we'll hear more of Al McCoy's calls as we go through the show today. If you've got a memory of Al, we want to hear from you. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. You can call us. You can text us. Text us your memory of Al McCoy to that number. If you had a chance to listen to a game or a call that you remember, or if there's a game you went to that you had a chance to see and then heard his call of. It's again, it's for those of us. I mean, we as somebody from Cleveland, we lost a longtime voice of our team a few years ago, and these are sad times. It's sad times when the play-by-play men that you grew up listening to are no longer with us, and that's why we just love to hear the memories of those gentlemen when we have an opportunity to talk to you about them. And of course, this past weekend we celebrated the birthday of the birthday of our great Lute Olson, who is no longer with us, as well as his birthday passed over the weekend. So again, if you want to share a story about Coach Olson, if you're remembering him over the weekend, you can call us as well. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. All right, coming up a little bit later in the show, we had our Miller Lite Pig Skin Challenge over the weekend. We picked a game, or Dragon Ball actually picked a game, and a lucky caller got a chance to pick the winner. Did that lucky caller pick the correct team? You will find that out straight ahead and find out how you might have the opportunity to get involved with the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. It happens every Thursday prior to the Thursday night game right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. All right, 520-848-1290. Give us a call right now. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together, sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet. We've got a collision reported that's clearing at Campbell and Roger Road and Campbell. Widening work continuing on Twin Peaks Road between Silver Bell and Corey Road, and currently traffic on Twin Peaks Road from Corey Road to White Stallion Ranch Road shifted to the south side of the roadway. 101 tomorrow, 103 on Wednesday, and 98 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
What do you do after celebrating 100 years in Tucson serving the community? Well, you get up the next morning and continue to do things that got you to the next 100 years.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Is he okay?
Ron, did you get hit on the head?
What? Oh, no. I was just reminiscing.
Here comes a story.
I was 5 or 6. A scruffy little ragamuffin, I was.
A scruffy? What are you, Charles Dickens?
Mama just wanted to comfort me.
Mama?
Comfort. It's why we started Alaskan AC, you know?
We know.
I was being a fuss budget. Golly, I was a scoundrel.
Get to the point.
These were the early days at Alaskan AC, see?
See.
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC.
Ron.
We don't take ourselves too seriously.
We literally just came up with the new Alaskan AC jingle last month.
What? Who's that? Who's there? Is it you, Mama?
Oh, boy.
Yes, Ronnie, it's Mama.
Did your little Ron Bon make you proud?
Every day, dear.
Why did I even come to work today?
Because...
it's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
AlaskanAC.com.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris Brockman, every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast.
A 2023 last place team will win a playoff game this year.
I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals to be that team. If you gave me two,
safe bet.
If you said two last place teams, I might say that's an overreaction. Come react or overreact with us. This one makes it much easier. So thank you for making it easier.
Well, tune in next week.
Overreaction Monday, wherever you listen.
Did you miss the big game? We got you covered.
Handoff will go to Hubbard in the end zone, and he's tackled for the safety.
Brent Brennan in the middle of it, jumping around. You know, wins are hard to get, and you got to celebrate them when you get them.
I love this.
Yeah.
If the coaches ain't excited about what's going on and can't get up for the game, then they shouldn't be over there.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Is this house a good price compared to others in the area? Are prices going up or down? If I don't make an offer right this very moment, will I miss my chance? These are just some of the questions a home buyer might ask. And these are the sorts of questions an agent who is a realtor can help answer. Because realtors have the expertise, data, and access to specialty training to help you navigate the process of buying a home. They provide support, guidance, and have your back every step of the way. That's what realtors do, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary. This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute. The Cowboys getting run over has been one of the only truly consistent threads this season, and they really can't stop King Henry. Derek himself told me on my program that he was interested in Dallas, and they never even reached out. Cowboy fan, it is going to be a long, long season. I'm Jim Rome.
Hey, sports fans, if you're not calling John Anthony, you're simply missing out. To prove it, I'm releasing your Monday Night Report absolutely free on a recorded message line. 1-800-244-5506. Washington at Cincinnati tonight is going to be a monster game, and I've got the side and the total. Washington-Cincinnati confirmed analysis and special props. That's 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to sweep the board. Call now to hear them free on my recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. Washington, Cincinnati, plus special prop action. I love to go 5-0 with the season free. That's 1-800-244-5506 or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We'll have a BetQL 5-star play coming up for you here a little bit in a few minutes here. I think it's on the one of the baseball games that starts at 5. So we'll get that out to you and make sure you have an opportunity. We haven't been having a whole lot of success with these 5-star plays, but we'll continue giving them to you because eventually, our luck's got to turn, right? We got to start winning in some of these. They said take the under on the Packers and the Titans. That did not work out very well over Sunday. I think that they were almost to the spread in the first half of that game yesterday. So it didn't. And is it an NFL football game if Will Levis doesn't throw some type of stupid interception that goes the other way for a pick six? Because has that not happened like in every single game for the Tennessee Titans so far this season, who are now 0-3 on the year? All right. Well, he's not having a good year whatsoever, and that is not a very good team down in Tennessee. 520-848-1290. All right, Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge on Thursday. Here is what we gave. I gave the honors to one Dragon Ball, David Amata, to decide what game we were going to go with, and here's how that whole thing went down.
The 0-2 Baltimore Ravens with the reigning MVP Lamar Jackson going into Dallas to take on the very newly minted highest paid player in the league in Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Who do you have in that particular contest?
Give me the Ravens.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
He's going to take the Ravens.
I've seen the Cowboys fall in 2 weeks.
All right, that was Daniel. He picked the Ravens over the Cowboys, who, again, the Cowboys going into their game last week against the Saints had won 18 consecutive regular season home games. Of course, they lost in the playoffs last year, but they'd been a pretty successful home team. Now they have lost overall 3 consecutive games at home because the Ravens did indeed win this game by a score of 28-25. And we are joined back by Daniel. Daniel, congratulations. You are a winner of a $25 gift card in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge.
Thank you.
What did you think of that game? I mean, the Ravens were kind of dominating that game for their first 3 quarters, and then it got a little dicey there towards the end. Were you getting nervous there down the stretch?
No, I wasn't getting nervous. I mean, I had faith in Derrick Henry all along.
Derrick Henry, 25 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns in his first season with the Baltimore Ravens after all of those years with the Tennessee Titans we were just talking about. A lot of discussion this week about whether or not the Cowboys completely messed up not trying to get Derrick Henry for Dak Prescott. Would you gather, Daniel, that was a bad decision by Jerry Jones not to go after Derrick Henry?
Yes, because I know that Derrick Henry makes his offseason home in Dallas.
There you go. He wouldn't have had to go very far to get to work every day. Dak Prescott yesterday, 28 of 51, 379 yards. He did throw for 2 touchdowns in the game, but the Cowboys are 1-2, and the screaming has begun about that franchise. As we heard Dragon Ball mention on Friday or last Thursday, they paid all that money to Dak Prescott. They paid all that money to CeeDee Lamb, and they're sitting with 2 losses now at home in their first 3 games. Do you have Cowboy fans, Daniel, or what are they saying to you right now about their team?
I don't have any Cowboy fans.
Oh, there you go. Well, you're a good guy then.
Because obviously I'm a Ravens fan, so I don't have any Cowboy fans that live around me.
So, as a Ravens fan, now we kind of toil in the same division. Both the Ravens and the Browns are now 1-2 on the season. What do you make of the Steelers and Justin Fields being 3-0? I think that's one of the surprising shocks of this season, next to Sam Darnold being the best passer in pro football.
That doesn't bother me. I mean, Justin Fields needed a break from where he was playing with the Bears, so that doesn't surprise me that he's winning with the Steelers.
All right. Well, Daniel, congratulations. Enjoy your $25 gift card. You going to buy some tailgating stuff for next Sunday?
Yeah.
What's Daniel?
Either that or I'm going to save up for Roadrunner tickets coming up.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Roadrunners tickets. Single game tickets went on sale a few weeks ago. Yeah, get you some tickets to the Roadrunners. We're creeping up on that. Rookie camp just ended. In fact, we got to talk to Adrian Denny this week. We'll get a report on what happened in rookie camp.
Me and my buddy are huge Roadrunner fans, so we go to try to go to every game that we can. So
nice. So where do you guys sit normally? Down by the ice, or do you guys sit high?
Down by. Last time I was there, I sat right on the bench of the Roadrunners.
Oh wow, nice.
So I got to see the players' emotions right in front of me. So
there you go. Awesome. Well, Daniel, congratulations again. We look forward to chatting with you maybe after an Arizona football victory this Saturday night.
Yeah. Hopefully we win. Go Cat.
There you go. Daniel is a winner in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. Don't forget, every Thursday, I pick the game, or in this case, last Thursday, Dragon Ball picked the game. Maybe this Thursday, It'll be J.W. Madden picking the game. And can you pick the winner? 2 weeks? No, this was week 3. Did we have it week 1 or was it week 2? Is that 3 winners now that we've had, or is that 2 winners now? I thought we've had, we've had 3 winners. 3 weeks, 3 winners. There we go. So we're handing out a lot of money. I can't get this thing to build up. If the person who picks the game picks incorrectly, then the pot rolls over to the next week. So $25. If that person loses and I win, then next week the pot goes to $50. But I haven't won yet this year. I'm 0-3. So we're staying at $25 for this Thursday. We'll make another selection. You could be a winner. Listen for the cue to call every Thursday for the Miller Lite Pig Skin Challenge. That number to call, 520-848-1290. You can call it if you want to get in on the show right now. All right. So Friday we were out at Canyon Del Oro High School. It's almost Friday night, and I totally failed as a host. On Friday because I forgot to thank the people who we now have an awesome sponsor for our Friday night high school broadcast when we go out for high school football. And we'll be going out again this Friday night. Now, we believe so. We haven't gotten all the T's and the I's dotted yet and confirmed, but we're looking to be out again this Friday night at a high school for Friday night football. But I forgot to thank the folks over at D&H Air Conditioning. They are the new sponsors of our It's Almost Friday Night pregame show. So we thank them tremendously. I'll be talking about them a little bit all throughout the show because I absolutely failed to talk about them at all on Friday for the show that they're sponsoring. See, that's part of this gig as a radio. You got to thank the people that are making things happen for you, and I did not do that. So my apologies to the great folks over at D&H Air Conditioning and Heating because they have jumped on board to make sure that we can put as big a spotlight as possible on high school football here in southern Arizona. There were some great games. That game went down 27-0 was the final. Canyon Del Oro wins for a third straight week, so they're now 3-1 on the season. Amphi, unfortunately, fell to 1-3. But the Panthers under Jorge Mendivi, they've got some great young players. I saw some talented young men, some nice 10th graders who were making plays defensively for the Panthers. So that looks like a group that if they stay together could be pretty good, like that group they had last year that went 5-1 in region play and had a chance to share the title with Empire and Douglas. So looking forward to some nice things in the future for Amphi and CDO. Again, CDO also a little bit of a younger crew with a lot of new starters, but they were pretty solid. Chase Dickey was one person who stood out. I like to call it Friday Night Lit. Who got lit on Friday night? Who made the plays? There's only one prerequisite to be Friday Night Lit. You got to win to get in. So you can't be Friday Night Lit if you're on a team that lost the game. You can only be Friday Night Lit if you're on a team that won the game. Chase Dickey was one of those. He was Friday Night Lit in that ball game, had a touchdown catch, had a interception in the game, but he could have been the homecoming king. He had a wide open ball over the middle in the second quarter, and he dropped it. It would have been his second touchdown of the game. So although he was Friday Night Lit, he could have even been more lit if he'd have caught that pass in the second quarter. So I got to talk about this, guys, because we mentioned it on Friday night. Homecoming. So it was homecoming at CDO. And at CDO for homecoming, the way they announce the king and the queen is that they give all of the court, everybody in the court gets a balloon, and then they pop their balloons, and then the gold dust, the balloons with the gold dust, that's who the king and the queen are. Well, it did not go quite as planned Friday night up at CDO because the announcer accidentally announced the two winners before they had a chance to pop the balloons. So I wish you could have seen the look on the girl that was kind of coordinating the whole thing on the floor, on the field. I wish you could have seen the look on her face when the names got announced, just as she's handing out the pins to pop the balloons. She like turned around at the press box and was like, "What did you guys just do?" And I had to make sure I heard that right. I was standing next to some people, and I was like, did they just announce the winners before they had a chance to pop the balloons? And the young lady I was standing next to, she turned and said, "Yeah, that happened." So a little premature, but congratulations. I'll get the names here real quick for you to the couple that won. Jaden Sweeney and Jackie Campione were the king and the queen of Dorado Land. Congratulations to Jackie and Jaden. Jaden had one of the best looking Stetsons I think I've ever seen. It was when I used to do TV here locally. That was one of the most fun things for me on Friday night. Every Friday night, no matter what game I covered, I tried to get a shot of a kid in the stands who had a cowboy hat on. And Jaden had one of the best looking white Stetson cowboy hats you are going to find. If you missed that, head on over right now to our Twitter account at Wildcats1290. Scroll back to Friday night. I've got the video up there right now. We've got the video of Jaden and Jackie being announced as the king and the queen, and you can see the really cool cowboy hat that Jaden Sweeney was rocking on Friday night. So great night up at CDO. We'll announce here probably Wednesday where we're going to be this Friday night, because as we inch closer every day, it is almost Friday night. DK on the sports tip, much more coming up for you in the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to hear from the head coach of the Arizona football team, Brent Brennan. We'll hear from him coming up at 5:20, his weekly press conference. I asked him, how do we get these tight ends involved in this offense? 7 tight end receptions for an offense that's supposed to be heavy on the tight end play. How do we make that? How does he make that happen? I'm saying we. I don't coach. I don't know anything about coaching. I can just break it down and analyze it. How do they get this tight end, and particularly, how do they get Kean Burnett involved in this offense? DK on the sports tip. We've got Cricket, we've got J-Dub, we've got Jose, we've got Bob. Right now, we've got Dragon Ball updating you on everything happening locally in sports as well as around the world.
Wildcats Radio 1290. 2020 Sports.
Arizona football starts up their last week of prep before their Big 12 opener against Utah out at Salt Lake City. And head coach Brent Brennan says the team is always evaluating who belongs in the starting lineup going into their next contest.
I don't know that that's – I mean, you're always evaluating that, right? Like game in and game out. So, I wouldn't say that's like particular to the bye weekend. Every week you're looking at that, like, are we getting enough out of this guy at this spot or this guy out of this spot? So there's always a balance to that. But, I think there are some guys that can help us in a more significant way, whether that's in offense or defense or the kicking game. And so there's going to be more people playing.
Arizona currently is set for the kickoff against Utah on Saturday at 7:15 at night as the nightcap for the Big 12, and you can hear that game here on Wildcats Radio 1290. The Diamondbacks currently just hold the last wildcard position by just 2 games after they struggled to hold off the Brewers rally late, coming up short of sweeping the NL Central champions in their extended series finale, despite having an 8-run lead after 3 innings. They now start up their next series today against the Giants. And for Sunday night's finale in the NFL, it came down to one last play, and South Point Catholic alum and former Texas Longhorn Bijan Robinson needed just 1 yard to keep the drive alive for the Falcons against the Chiefs.
The ball right now is in between the 12 and the 13. The marker is right at the 12. 4th down and a half yard. Robinson and Algier in the game. Cousins goes under center. Cousins takes the snap. Handoff Robinson, sweeping left, hit in the backfield, and he is stopped. Robinson gets knocked down at the 16, and the Chiefs will take over.
I'm just not a fan, Ryan, of the outside run on short yardage. Just not a fan of going east and west before you turn it up.
Thanks to U of A alum Ryan Radke and Mike Golick on the call you heard there on Wildcats Radio 1290. Indeed, the Chiefs came up big with inches to go to keep themselves unbeaten after 3 weeks to cap off the Sunday slate of games in the NFL. And that's your 2020 Sports Update. We'll have more for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions reported, La Cholla and McGee and La Cholla, Gates Pass Road at Gates Pass, Viewpoint, also at Campbell and Roger Road. Expect some slowing for Ahoway and Mission, and also travel will be picking up on La Cholla Boulevard at Ahoway. 101 tomorrow, 103 Wednesday, and 98 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. That's progressive.com/careers.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur and Wilma are in the car with you. This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Whether you're new to Arizona or you've been driving here for decades, we all share the same roads and the same extreme driving conditions, like extreme Arizona heat, extremely large potholes, some extremely flooded roads, and there's always extremely distracted drivers, pedestrians, and that guy who drives a scooter backwards into oncoming traffic. You're driving in the world's largest video game, stopping, starting, turning, heating up, and cooling down. And that's just your afternoon commute. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's 14 award-winning locations have been helping drivers just like you get home safely for over 60 years. With top-quality tire brands, no hidden extras, and one low price. Jack Furrier has everything you need to stay in the game, like wheel alignments, batteries, brakes, air conditioning, service at prices that won't break the bank. Ask a neighbor or friend about Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's friendly service, or stop by, make an appointment online, or call ahead to the local's choice. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Is he okay? Ron, did you get hit on the head? What? Oh, no. I was just reminiscing. Here comes a story. I was 5 or 6. A scruffy little ragamuffin, I was. A scruffy? What are you, Charles Dickens? Mama just wanted to comfort me. Mama? Comfort. It's why we started Alaskan AC, you know? We know. I was being a fuss budget. Golly, I was a scoundrel. Get to the point. These were the early days at Alaskan AC, see? See. It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC. Ron. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We literally just came up with a new Alaskan AC jingle last month. What? Who's that? Who's there? Is it you, Mama? Oh, boy. Yes, Ronnie, it's Mama. Did your little Ron Bon make you proud? Every day, dear. Why did I even come to work today? Because...
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
AlaskanAC.com.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you can use that money towards going to see your favorite team in the playoffs. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can go see your favorite team in the playoffs. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but we cannot guarantee that your favorite team will make the playoffs or even finish with a winning record. They could easily lose more than half their games and finish in the cellar because they stink badly and haven't made the playoffs in years. Savings? Very possible. Playoffs? Highly doubtful. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. We cannot be held liable for your favorite team's terrible and frankly embarrassing performances.
KZUB Tucson, a Cumulus Media Station. The one and only home of the Jim Rome Show. Rich Eisen and DK on the Sports Tip.
You know, this is vastly different. There's a lot of clapping, a lot of hugging, a lot of handshaking.
We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly. Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff! Baseball stuff!
The D-backs are home for the final homestand of the 2024 season after a pretty successful weekend. It was in Milwaukee. It could have been a lot more successful if they had lost yesterday, but they were able to win the first 3 games in this series. And again, we mentioned in hour number 1 that the state of Arizona lost a treasure, a sports treasure, this past weekend when Al McCoy passed away. And there were a number of broadcasters throughout the weekend that paid tribute to the legendary Al McCoy, and Stephen Garagiola was one of them who did that.
2-1.
Stephen Garagiola and was getting the call there of a home run by Jose Herrera. It was his first major league home run, and he dedicated that home run to the great Al McCoy. Let's hear it now.
2-1. Swung on. That is hit well. Out to right field. And Shazam! First career home run for Jose Herrera. Soak it in, Jose. It's 3-0 Diamondbacks.
Got a hanging breaking ball and crushed it out to right. Take your time around those bases. That's got to be a great. Everyone up on the front step, I think they all know too. And he's going to get a huge welcome getting back into this dugout.
You know what's cool about that now? And Jose Herrera has been kind of a backup catcher in the big leagues now, going on his 3rd season with the major league club, but he had never hit a home run in a big league game prior to that home run on Saturday. He appeared in 47 games for the D-backs back in 2022. He played in 23 games last year, or 43 games, last year, and he had played in 40 games this year. So, one of those guys that spends most of his time in AAA, but he'll come up and for a spell or two when a backup catcher is needed, and there's been some injuries at the catching position this year. And so Jose Herrera has gotten an opportunity to play some games, but had never hit a big league home run until that one on Saturday. So congratulations to Jose Herrera. 10 years as a professional. He was originally signed in 2014 at the age of 17 years old out of Venezuela. And at the age of 27, he finally gets his first major league home run. You'll hear from him coming up here a little bit later. So the Diamondbacks won Thursday night. That was the night after the Brewers had clinched. 5-1. They won Friday 7-4. The game that Herrera hit the home run was a 5-0 win for the D-backs. Okay, got excellent pitching in that ball game as well to get the win. So again, surging on the road at the tail end. Merrill Kelly was fabulous again. Didn't pitch deep once again. Only 5 innings, but allowed just 2 hits, and then handed it over to his bullpen, and they were electric. Four no-hit innings. How about 4 no-hit innings Saturday from Joe Mantiply, Kevin Ginkel, and A.J. Puck. A.J. Puck, who just continues to be unbelievable. 4 no-hit innings with 7 strikeouts from those 3 relievers to get the win on Saturday. And then things were looking really good on Sunday. I mean, really good. It started with Ketel Marte in the first.
This one's going to go. Ketel Marte make it 3 in a row. Upper deck in Milwaukee. Wow, is he hot.
Hot, his 35th home run of the season. So he's got to get real hot to get to 40. He's only got a few games left. The Diamondbacks have played, I think they got 6 games left to go. So he's got to get real hot in order to get to that mark. But 35, and he's now hit a home run in the first inning 13 times this season, has Ketel Marte. The hits, I should say the homers, kept coming. How about the third inning, beginning with Josh Bell?
Bell clobbers this to center. Way back and gone. Josh Bell blows one up, and it's 7-0. Wow, did he cream that one?
Oh, my goodness.
And Suarez reaches down and pokes it out to left. This one's going to go as well. They go back to back. It's a 7-run third and an 8-0 Diamondback lead. We know it's Gino. That's 29.
I mean, it was looking great. 3 innings in. Diamondbacks with an 8-0 lead. And that's when it started coming apart. The Brewers would get a run in the third, 2 more in the fourth, a run in the sixth, 2 more in the seventh. And then in the eighth, it was 9-6 all of a sudden. They would get 4. Check it. Yeah, 5 in the 8th inning. Did the Brewers to steal a 10-9 win from the Diamondbacks. So the Diamondbacks were up 8-0. They blow it and lose 10-9. Torey Lovello on, and remember last week we talked about how they were the streak busters. You know, they'd had 4 times already this month where they'd been just about to be swept in a series, but they won on the last day. Well, this time they couldn't close out the sweep on the last day. Here's Torey Lovello.
Frustrating. It's nothing you can predict. I thought we were in total control of that game. It just goes to show you that things can change quickly. You can't take anything for granted. I don't think the team did. I just think we didn't execute at some really critical times, and this is how it ends up. We lost today's game, and we could have swept 4 straight days. It would have been a nice little push for us. Still will be.
All right, so that's Torey Lovello after the game. Now, let's go back to Jose Herrera, who hit that home run on Saturday, and just his reaction to his first 10 years, again, 10 years as a professional, 3rd year as a part-time big leaguer. Really, I don't know if he, not even really part-time, played in a fourth of the games the last 3 years, about 40 games of a 162-game schedule. But enough to be in the big leagues the last 3 years and to finally get his first big league home run.
Honestly, it's been a conversation over the last couple of weeks. They see me swinging, and they notice that it was going to come soon, and they stay with me, together, being positive. And it's special. I think, it's been a hard work through the years. Even the coaches were happy with me. But it was special. I mean, first of all, it's about winning. That's who I am, and everything that I do is try to help the team to win.
All right, so back home at Chase Field now, 6 games remain. 3 against the Giants, 3 against the Padres, all National League West opponents. Padres remain hot, but the Giants first up tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Hayden Birdsong goes for the Giants tonight. He's 4-5 with a 4.74 ERA. Eduardo Rodriguez, he was fabulous the last time out. He had the 11 Ks in that series opener against Milwaukee. He is 3-3 with a 5.09 earned run average. And the favorite in this right now is the Diamondbacks at -180 on your money line. And so that's where we stand in terms of the series coming up. The Diamondbacks are tied with the Mets right now, 87-69, tied for that second spot in the wild card behind the Padres, who just stay red hot. The Padres have now won 4 straight ball games to lead the wild card. The Mets and the Diamondbacks still holding a 2-game advantage over the Braves, who are not going away. The Braves have won 2 consecutive ball games. So this final week of the National League season is going to be pretty impressive as teams try to make a move. The Padres, I mean, again, they're only 3 back of the Dodgers. It's going to be tough, but it's not impossible for the Padres to catch Los Angeles and win this division. Don't know that that's going to happen, but it certainly could. All right, we've got J-Dub's back. Oh, he's over there letting our guy Bob. Let's show Bob. Let's say, for those of you that have never met Bob, there's Bob. Bob, wave to the people. There you go, Bob. And you can see Jose back there too. There's Jose. All right, Jose's in the house. We got everybody in the house today. Here, we've introduced a few of our new team members to you. We'll continue to introduce them to you as well. And you guys have been huddling over in the traffic center. Mm-hmm. You and we introduced Dragon Ball back to the show.
And we also got Priscilla back there,
too. Oh, yeah, Priscilla's back there, too. All right, I forgot Priscilla.
This is a big team.
This is a team now. This is a team.
It's a big team.
See, it's not just Jimmy and J-Dub anymore. We got a bunch of new brothers and sisters to hang around with. How about that? So what have you guys been, how's he doing over there and getting ready for his traffic assignment this week?
Brilliant. Great questions.
Brilliant?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, okay.
And he has good questions. He also asked, where do you get the What's Up Weekend stuff? Which I kind of like. I was like, if you think of any questions, let me know. Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? And he's like, the one question I have. So he's thinking of everything. So I think he's really good.
There you go. See?
Ready to go ahead and fill in a little bit maybe on Wednesday morning and then ready to go full bore on it on Friday.
Oh, there you go.
Rock and roll.
Nice. Yeah, what's going to be your traffic style? Are you going to have a style there?
My style is just tell people what we got in regards to accidents and traffics and your usual pit stops on the freeway before you get off on the exit.
Are you going to have a cool traffic name or anything like that?
I've been going
Dusty Roads.
Dusty Roads. No, Dusty Road.
Captain, there was just there have been some cool. I lived in Central California, and there was this guy in Fresno. He went by Captain Scotty. He had this really deep voice. Captain Scotty with your traffic this afternoon here high above Fresno, California. It's like, is there traffic in Fresno, California? I didn't really know that there was, but Captain Scotty, you sound really cool. So I like you. We had, and then in Cleveland, we had, what was that guy's name? A Sky Chief. We called him Sky Chief.
Well, that's kind of cool.
So yeah, you got to come up with a. You're not in a plane or a helicopter or anything like that, but. The people don't have to know that. In fact, you could probably. Why don't you go and have some like funky helicopter noise behind you to make people think you actually are up in the air.
I don't know if we could do the Police Academy kind of thing where we have to have somebody doing sound effects in the little speakerphone on the car.
Out on your chest, so it sounds like
we can call you Sky Chief Dragon Ball with your traffic every 20 minutes on the. You gotta. This is entertainment. We're in the entertainment business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta make it entertain the people.
I've been going with Dragon Ball now on Kim as well on Sunday.
Okay,
I'm just carrying that over now. I'll probably just carry that over into traffic.
Why not? Do you get any people to call on you asking for requests and stuff over there? Or?
No, I just mostly send out keywords to text in, which if you guys missed it, I had a couple of keywords for the Carly Pierce giveaway. I don't know. Can I talk about stuff that happened on Kim on K-Cup?
Sure,
you said before that we're brothers and sisters.
Yeah, we're brothers and sisters.
We're brothers and sisters. This is true. So yeah, I'll have to go ahead and I'll start doing that for when I'm on Kim as well. But hey, I got winning weekends for keywords to text in for giveaways and updating everybody on what's going on. In fact, we got the blood drive coming up at the U of A bookstore coming up this week as well.
On Tuesday.
Okay, so who's reading the traffic today? I don't even know. You guys just showed up. You guys showed up as a tandem, so maybe you guys are going to split it, and you're going to read part of it, and he's going to read part of it. I don't know what's going on here.
Nah, that'd be all Cricket on
this.
All
right,
okay,
so Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Earlier collision reported eastbound I-10 near Miracle Mile off on the right shoulder. 22nd Street and I-10, a vehicle fire reported on 22nd Street at I-10. Collisions at La Cholla and McGee, also Thornydale and Cortero Farms Road, and also some slowdowns Ajo Way and Mission. 101 tomorrow, 103 on Wednesday, and 97 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Not all sports stations are built the same way. 1290 has Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball, plus the NFL and the Super Bowl. Tucson trusts 1290. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
In a world of chaos and high inflation, where savings are rare.
Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
There's only one place that can save you up to 40% off your favorite tobacco products. Tobacco Barn. Tobacco Barn. In a quest to unlock the key to savings, Tobacco Barn embarks upon the ultimate adventure to charge no city or state sales tax because they're on the reservation, and to save up to $3 off with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com.
This is not a joke.
When savings are stolen by the evil of other high-priced tobacco stores, there's only one powerful enough to resist city and state sales taxes, plus save you up to $3 with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com. Tobacco Barn. Tobacco Barn. Hooray! And if all else fails, we can always call upon
I'm Captain Tobacco at your service.
My hero.
Tobacco Barn, Tucson's most epic adventure in savings. Now showing at Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia.
Is he okay?
Ron, did you get hit on the head?
What? Oh, no. I was just reminiscing. Here comes a story. I was 5 or 6. A scruffy little ragamuffin, I was. A scruffy? What are you, Charles Dickens? Mama just wanted to comfort me.
Mama?
Comfort. It's why we started Alaskan AC, you know?
We know.
I was being a fuss budget. Golly, I was a scoundrel. Get to the point.
These were the early days at Alaskan AC, see?
See.
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC.
Ron.
We don't take ourselves too seriously.
We literally just came up with the new Alaskan AC jingle last month.
What? Who's that? Who's there? Is it you, Mama?
Oh, boy.
Yes, Ronnie, it's Mama.
Did your little Ron Bon make you proud?
Every day, dear.
Why did I even come to work today?
Because...
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
AlaskanAC.com.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new Dayquil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
Hi, welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples can print everything for my business.
Sure can.
And the quality is guaranteed?
Absolutely.
Plus, you'll beat any price quote. Is that right?
For sure.
How about this one?
We'll beat it.
Can you print menus, signs, and flyers?
Sure can.
How about blueprints?
No problem.
What about red prints?
Not a real thing.
What if they were?
We'd print them, and they'd look amazing.
Now at Staples, print more, save more. Up to $150 off your print purchase. Ends 11/2. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details and staples.com/price match for in-store price match guarantee.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Stay informed on all the latest news from McHale Center and Arizona men's basketball by following us on Twitter at Wildcats1290. When news breaks from Tommy Lloyd's team, we will bring it to you on Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Chris Rose with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Sam Darnold threw 4 touchdown passes. Vikings dominate the Texans 34-7. Minnesota now 3-0. Kyron Williams scored 3 times as the Rams rallied from a 14-point deficit to top the Niners by 3. Saquon Barkley ran for 2 scores. Eagles rallied to beat the Saints 15-12. Andy Dalton threw 3 touchdowns. Panthers beat the Raiders 36-22 for their first win of the year. Packers topped the Titans 30-14 as Malik Willis threw for a touchdown and ran for another in his return to Tennessee. Bo Nix got his first career win as the Broncos beat the Bucs 26-7. Ravens got their first W of the year, holding on to beat the Cowboys 28-25. Steelers top the Chargers 20-10. Pittsburgh now 3-0. Seahawks also 3-0 after besting the Dolphins 24-3. And on Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs held on to beat the Falcons 22-17. The two-time champs also 3-0. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. That's why our Lowe's Red Vest associates can help with game time decisions. Plus, use in-store mode on the Lowe's app to find what you need. Under pressure at home and want it soon? Order online by 2 p.m. to get it same day. Same day valid on eligible in-stock items and select zip codes only, subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. Exclusions and more terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We actually have some breaking news here today in the world of college athletics. It appears that the schools in the AAC that were potentially looking at the possibility of joining this new Pac-12 had decided that they're not going to do that. That's the American Athletic Conference. Those schools being Memphis among those, Tulane was one of those schools, as well as South Florida was one of those schools. And they have put out a release today saying, we are the American Athletic Conference, a conference that prioritizes student athletes' welfare, has proud academic institutions, produces fierce competition at the highest level, and has outstanding linear and direct-to-consumer national media partners. Together, we are committed to continuing to build the American brand, exploring new opportunities for exposure and value, and developing innovative economic resources, all in the service of our student athletes. While we acknowledge receiving interest in our institutions from other conferences, we firmly believe that it is in our individual and collective best interest to uphold our commitment to each other. Together, we will continue to modernize the conference, elevate the student-athlete experience, achieve championship-winning successes, and build the future. So Memphis, Tulane, South Florida, not going to be leaving the AAC to join the new Pac-12 that obviously did some expanding of their own recently with the likes of Boise State and UNLV and Nevada and San Diego State. So that news coming today on the front of college sports. All right, let's hear a little bit from Adia Barnes, who spoke today. A basketball season is here. The ladies were on the practice court practicing at McHale Center this afternoon. Practice started about noon. Got a chance to check out a little bit of that after the Brent Brennan press conference. Adia has some new faces, quite a few old faces. The core of the team is back. They'll also get Montea Dew back this year after she missed all of last year due to injury. Let's hear from Adia Barnes.
What's her role?
Well, she's a coach. I know the title is special assistant to the head coach, but now we can have the 6 accountable coaches. So she's a coach, and she goes by Miko. So that's her nickname. She's brought so much energy, enthusiasm, great personality. She has experience coaching. She was a player at Tennessee. She played pros, so she just brings a lot to the table. When you guys watch her, I think you guys are watching practice today, you'll see her. She brings energy and enthusiasm and never has a bad day. So I'm really happy she's here.
So she said she wasn't sure she wanted to coach again, but, she kind of was looking at the administrative side. So what does she bring on the coaching side?
Well, I love energy and enthusiasm. I think that's really valuable, especially with a young team and especially with so many new players. I think that because she had some rough last experience, and I think as a coach, I think sometimes that's discouraging if you're in a situation where the coaches get let go, and I think that's really hard. So going back to Tennessee, did some stuff on the academic side, which is also a benefit for us because, just to help us in that role here, even on staff. So she brings a lot. She brings experience. She brings. I love when there's someone who actually has been there, done that at every level. She played pro. She played, for Liberty. Got hurt, so she's been through a lot of things. Played at a high level at Tennessee. From a military family, so has a great background, a great base. So I love all her experiences, and the players really like her. A lot of them got to talk to her on her interview and love her. And then also some background. Coach Turner actually coached with her, and some of my friends, she worked for. So it's been a really good fit. I'm really, really happy with her.
And what is sort of the wide range of stuff? I mean, she's going to be coaching, obviously, and helping you out there, but as a special assistant.
This is Adia Barnes talking about new special assistant coach Kamiko Washington.
I think the special assistant part is just kind
former
of
player at Tennessee, Kamiko Williams.
She has a lot of experience in that role. Academics are huge to me and important, so kind of a plan with that. She's really organized. So just help with kind of the organization of that. Just we're on the road and checking in and just new systems in place. As far as practice, she'll help with practice. She was a really good post player. She's really good on the court. She actually is very good on the court. And then her energy, enthusiasm, helps with practice players, organization of teaching them the plays. She'll help with coaching. So she's a coach. She's a coach, and now that we have more, so why not have some more experiences? And I thought she also brings me that younger, cooler, hipper coach that knows the music and knows the swag that I don't know because I'm too old. I'm old enough to be their moms. So just a different balance. And I think that she's a really good balance for us because we're all so different, but we bring different strengths. And I think she's really added to that. And you'll be able to tell the first 5 minutes of practice. And I like that because I think, if you look at Coach Salvo and Coach Anthony, they are just a little bit more laid back and probably not the raw, then she's more like, hey, girl, like high five, talk, she's more like, reminds me of those players that were on the court, so they were really good communicators. Like when you think of a volleyball player that turns basketball player, they're always like, yeah, always communicating. That's how she is from the sideline. And I think her and Bet bring a lot of energy, which is important for what we do.
Jason in the back. Before we get to my question, you mentioned practice a couple times. What time is practice?
It's at, So
a lot of times the biggest improvement from a player is from their freshman to their sophomore year. What does that say about the core of your team and the potential for this season?
It says a lot. So we had, our core, obviously, Jada and Skylar and Brea. They were thrown into the fire last year. They had tremendous experience just in the tournament, in so many overtime games, and I think that their growth as freshmen is more like 2 years of growth. Like we saw, I always give the example of Kiki Rice at UCLA. They ended up as sophomore years playing like juniors or seniors. I think you're going to see that same growth. Jada has tremendously improved. She's just her body, her voice, how she approaches things, her work ethic, everything has gone to the next level. Brea and Skylar also. So I think that you're going to see a lot from them. I think you're going to see them lead us in so many ways on and off the court. And then the other person that we haven't talked a lot about is Montea. Because Montea was out last year, so a lot of people forgot about her. But she's basically been here, a couple of years, and she's only going to be a freshman. So she's kind of thrown into that mix. And so I'm really excited about this core and just excited to see what they do this year.
What specifically have you seen from Skylar? Because all three of those freshmen, Brea and Jada and Skylar, took a real jump, especially in the last portion of the season in the NCAAs. And we really saw each one come in a different way, but Skylar especially. What are you seeing now after this off season of summer training and now getting into today starts official?
Yes, Skylar has taken on more of a leadership role this year. So she, before, she always had the work ethic. She always went hard. I think she was really hard on herself last year and a little immature in that area. She has grown in that area a lot. She is using her voice to encourage other people, not only worry about herself, not have a little bit less narrow in that sense. She has gained probably 11 pounds of muscle. I mean, if you see her body, she was always athletic looking, but she's just really more developed in that sense. I think that more powerful this year, and I think a lot of that's attributed to Chris Allen in the weight room. And I think she's just ready. I think she just learned so much last year. Remember, she went from not playing really, and having times when she barely played, like in the Bahamas, and then to having like an impact game in the tournament. So I think she sees all the stuff and that we put her through, and that she learned her freshman year and grew, and I think that's really motivated her. So you could tell she didn't take a lot of time off. You could tell she stayed focused, and she wanted to be better, and it's just her game is a lot better. Now she goes, before she never went right, and now she goes right some. Sorry, my phone is like, my son is calling me nonstop. And she's just ready. I think she's ready to go to the next level. She's ready to lead the team, and she wants to. And I think that's the big transition of all these freshmen. They want to lead the team. They want to bring everybody else along, and they feel like they've earned that. So that's been fun to be a part of. So she's ready to go. You'll see. I think you'll see when you see her. You're going to be like, wow, you look great.
How would you describe where Montea is a year removed from her surgery, and what do you think she learned during the process of not being able to play?
Montea learned a lot. Montea faced a tremendous amount of adversity, in her personal life, with her mom passing, and that's a public thing, so that's not a secret, and with her tearing her ACL. So that was a lot for a young person to handle in 1 year. And she came to us, remember she came early because of her family situation. So it was just a lot in 1 year. I've watched her grow a lot. I've watched her find her voice a lot more. I think you have a new sense of being and belonging. And, remember her mom was her backbone her whole life. So I think that was just something that's going to make her stronger later. As far as work ethic in the weight room, on the court, she's hungry. She's been out a long time. And I think we counted for one point she was out like 13 months straight. So she's stronger. Her shot has improved because she's had a lot of time to focus on the form of her shot and just the consistency. And I think she just wants to play. It's just been a long time, and kind of just has she really plays with a purpose right now. So that's been good to watch. And she's a very smart player regardless, but she doesn't feel or look like a freshman. So I'm hoping all these experiences and seeing what she went through and growing in that way, I think she'll be a better player later. A lot of times when you get injured as a player, you get to sit back and you get to see a lot of things that you want to change, or how you don't want to be, or how you want to be, and that's what it did for me. And so I think just teaching her in that process, hey, body language is important because this is why. Look at this player, this is why you don't want that. Or being leadership is important on the bench because of X, Y, and Z. So I think it's helped her grow in a lot of ways, and I think that'll help her as a player. So we'll see.
Jason, go ahead. Yeah, I totally understand the challenge of trying to find the right number of players. The situation a couple of years ago where too many people wanted to play, then a couple losses and things can kind of go the wrong direction, and then but you don't also want what happened last year. Do you have the right number this year, and how do you come up with the right number?
Well, I remember a couple of years ago, I was like, oh, I want 15. And then after the 15, I said, never again. You remember that? I probably said that to you guys. And then what happened last year, obviously that was difficult, just with all the changes in the rosters and the injuries. So I think 15 is hard. Actually, 14. 14 is difficult to manage, but I think that the way we play, I think it's possible to play more players. And just remember, we're not going to really lose. We're going to lose Isis, and then possibly we don't know the situation with Ajay, but so we're going to have this same core again next year. So I think the positive thing is that they're not going to play like freshmen. They're going to grow. I think the style that we play, we can play deeper into our bench. And I think the thing as a coach, what I've learned is if players don't have an opportunity, especially if, let's say the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th player, they are not going to stay. So finding that balance of figuring out how to, give the freshmen some experience. Maybe they're not ready to play 20 minutes. Maybe it's just playing them some so you can, keep them on your roster. So I think that's a balance. So hopefully I'll balance out a little bit better. But we needed more depth for sure. And remember, 2 are walk-ons. So we have the 14, Maya's still on scholarship, and then we have 14. And then 2 are walk-ons, so that's a little bit different too. I think before I had 15 scholarship players, so I think the roles and the understanding is also different. So.
Walk-on, and what made you want to bring her back?
Yeah, so Brooklyn was one of the the walk-ons from last year, she's awesome. She's a 4.0 student. She is a great person. She's got a good personality. The players like her. She works hard. So for me, it made sense to bring her back. And so I ended up putting both of them on scholarship. So I think that makes it a little bit easier if you have 2 walk-ons that are on scholarship versus like you have 15 players because they really know they're going to play. I think when you're in a walk-on situation, I think the roles are a little bit different and it's more accepting. So I think it's not as challenging.
You said Maya's still on scholarship?
Yeah, Maya's on scholarship. Yeah.
Does that work, or what's the dynamic?
It's just she's on scholarship, not just working at medical school. So just takes up 1, so we have 14.
All right, that is the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats. That is Adia Barnes. Interesting, at the end there, she talked about Maya Najee still being on scholarship. She obviously left the team last year. That's an interesting, again, she's still in school, so her scholarship stays intact, even though she's not with the team. She's not practicing with the team, so I guess that leaves that option out there if Maya Najee decides that at any point she wants to come back and play basketball. Then they figure out whether she plays at Arizona or she's released from that scholarship, released from her commitments here, and goes and plays somewhere else. So interesting still to hear that's still the case there, because you might have forgotten that she left the program last year. All right, DK on the Sports Tip, much more coming up for you. We'll hear from Brent Brennan at 5:20-ish as well. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported, Thornydale and Cortero Farms Road in Thornydale, LaChoya and McGee and LaChoya is also clearing. And had that earlier vehicle fire reported at the eastbound I-10 Star Pass, 22nd Street off-ramp, and some freeway backups on eastbound I-10, approaching Speedway Boulevard to Star Pass. For your weather, about 101 tomorrow, 103 Wednesday, and 97 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast Burrito. Wendy's Breakfast Burrito is everything you want for breakfast. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese sauce, bacon, or sausage, all rolled up into one warm tortilla. Want the boss of breakfast burritos? Gotta be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Cricket, did you know that you had a World Cup?
Straight! We're going to have a super over!
Is that like soccer?
I don't understand any of it. I don't understand the terminology. I don't understand. Left-armed seamer, can you believe it or not? He caught a slip.
You don't want to catch a slip.
I don't know what any of those things
That's not good at all.
But congrats to the USA for defeating Pakistan.
Yeah, I like the left-hand seamer, though. That sounds like a good thing.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Looking for runs in Houston. I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with BetQL. The Mariners and Astros open the final week of the season in Houston. It's a low total of 7.5 for tonight's matchup, and the BetQL model likes the over. BetQL has over 7.5 runs as a 5-star best bet. I'm Joe Ostrowski. Bet smarter, beat the books. Download the BetQL and BetMGM apps today.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Whether you're new to Arizona or you've been driving here for decades, we all share the same roads and the same extreme driving conditions, like extreme Arizona heat, extremely large potholes, some extremely flooded roads, and there's always extremely distracted drivers, pedestrians, and that guy who drives a scooter backwards into oncoming traffic. You're driving in the world's largest video game, stopping, starting, turning, heating up, and cooling down. And that's just your afternoon commute. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's 14 award-winning locations have been helping drivers just like you get home safely for over 60 years. With top-quality tire brands, no hidden extras, and one low price. Jack Furrier has everything you need to stay in the game, like wheel alignments, batteries, brakes, air conditioning, service at prices that won't break the bank. Ask a neighbor or friend about Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's friendly service, or stop by, make an appointment online, or call ahead to the local's choice. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Hey, Wildcat fans, Arizona football is here. Catch head coach Brent Brennan as the Wildcats enter their inaugural season of the Big 12 Conference. We need you to be part of the action, filling the stands and cheering on Arizona. Secure your seats for all 7 home games with season tickets, or pick the plan that is best for you by calling the ticket office at 520-621-2287 or visiting ArizonaWildcats.com/FB. Lock in your tickets today. We'll see you at Arizona Stadium. Bear down. Go Cats!
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute. The 3 most outstanding players in college football so far this season are Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty, and Cam Ward. Hunter continued his 2-way stardom on Saturday, forcing the game-winning fumble and also reeling in 7 receptions for 130 yards. Jeanty through 3 games has 586 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. And Ward is completing 72.4% of his passes for 1,439 yards and 15 total touchdowns. I'm Zach Gelb.
Hey, sports fans, if you're not calling John Anthony, you're simply missing out. To prove it, I'm releasing your Monday Night Report absolutely free on a recorded message line. 1-800-244-5506. Washington at Cincinnati tonight is going to be a monster game, and I've got the side and the total. Washington-Cincinnati confirmed analysis and special props. That's 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to sweep the board. Call now to hear them free on my recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. Washington, Cincinnati, plus special prop action. I love to go 5-0 with the season free. That's 1-800-244-5506 or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Cardinals have a tight end and 3 receivers and a shotgun set on 1st and goal at the 10 of Detroit. Snap to Murray. Fakes the handoff. Boot to the left. Backing up. Now lobs it left corner of the end zone. Caught by Harrison. Shazam! Touchdown Cardinals. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Everybody celebrating the great Al McCoy with their calls. You heard Stephen Garagiola earlier in the show, his Shazam call on the first ever big league home run by Jose Herrera on Saturday for the Diamondbacks. And then the Shazam call there by Dave Pasch, the play-by-play man for the Cardinals, on the touchdown reception by Marvin Harrison Jr., who now has 3 TD catches in the last 2 games, 5 catches yesterday for 64 yards, but the Cardinals could not duplicate the offensive prowess that they had week 4 against the Rams, and they fall 20-13 at home to the Detroit Lions to fall to 1-2 on the season. Kyler Murray, that was the lone touchdown pass he threw in the game, 21 of 34, 207 yards. We are rejoined on the program by Dragon Ball, who is done with his training now over in the other booth there. And Dragon Ball, first of all, we were talking about the utter. So I went to the game last week.
Right.
And there weren't. So just to preface, so last year I went to a Cardinals game. It was Cardinals-Rams. It was towards the end of the season. There were a lot of Rams fans there that game, but the Cardinals were kind of out of it. This year I went, there were not as many Rams fans because it was opening day, so you figure most of the people came. Yesterday was just an obnoxiously amount of blue in the lower bowl at the ball game yesterday. And not only, we were saying in the first hour, there was an obnoxiously amount of blue in the lower bowl in Arizona and an obnoxiously amount of red in the lower bowl in Los Angeles because the 49ers fans took over SoFi yesterday. And I just, when you have a team in the Cardinals who did what they did last week and a quarterback who did what he did, one of the finest performances, historic quarterback performance last week by Kyler Murray. So historic that, again, that jersey he wore is sitting in Canton, Ohio right now. And you sell out your team like that? All you people who had season tickets in the lower bowl, you sell out your team the week after they put a 31-point thumping on a team that they never beat in the Rams? And you sell out your team like that? I don't get it, Dragon Ball. I don't get it.
Here's what I would give the answer to. So we're not looking at the season ticket holders. I'm just going to look at single game tickets. When do those go on sale typically? Do they go on sale the week before the game? Or do they go on sale well in advance? So there's your answer. What did the Cardinals do last year versus what they did last week doesn't mean anything. Last year's result is what most people remember when those single game tickets go on sale, when season ticket holders have to make a decision about, well, do I want to go to this game or do I want to go to that game? They're not thinking about going to see the Cardinals play the Lions after Kyler Murray's great performance. They're thinking, do I want to go and see a team that came up just short in the NFC Championship game, go up against a team that's clearly going to be in a rebuilding phase when they go up head-to-head that week in Week 3? Cardinal fans, look, I've always been of the mindset that I think that there's a little bit of lukewarm attitudes towards Cardinal and the fandom of the team. When the team is good, Cardinal fandom is very, very, very strong. But when the team is bad or projected to be mediocre, they're kind of a hit and miss. I think that you got to look at it more so from the aspect of what projections were coming into this season versus what the reaction was from last week's game.
Well, and here's my issue with what you just said there, and because where I come from, you mentioned single game tickets.
Right.
Where I come from, single game tickets are not in the lower bowl. Very few. There's very few. I'm not going to say there's none, but there's very few single game tickets in the lower bowl. Most of your single game tickets are in the 400 level at most stadiums. So I would venture, and I want to go back to something that came out in May. This was a story that came out in May. The Cardinals sold out their entire inventory of lower bowl season tickets. As of last week, there were only about 2,000 left in the State Farm Stadium Club and Terrace, which is the upper decks, according to, this was Jose Romero, who writes the beat for the Cardinals. He wrote this in May. So the entire inventory of the lower bowl season tickets, according to Jose Romero, as of mid-May, were sold out. And in most stadiums, that would be the case. Lower bowl seats are people that are buying for the season. So that tells me that those people sold out. Not single game tickets in the 400 level where I sat last week, where you can go on StubHub and get those tickets for, I don't know what we paid. It wasn't a lot. I think we paid like $40, $43 to sit in row 3 of the well, really it's row 6 because there's a lower level of it's about 3 seats or 3 rows. You can get those tickets, but to me, the season ticket holders are the ones holding all the lower bowl tickets where I saw all of that blue yesterday, and that's not good. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying on the point of, this is a lukewarm, still maybe a lukewarm fan base, because even, and it was funny because somebody asked Marvin Harrison after the game last Sunday, oh, what'd you think of the crowd, this and that. He said, oh, the energy was great. When he said that, I'm like, it was a good football game, but it wasn't like Pittsburgh. It wasn't like Cleveland. It wasn't even like what we've seen in Detroit, even when the Lions are bad. So from that standpoint, yes, it's not crazy fandom like I think we see in some big-time NFL markets. It's not like that kind of energy. At least that wasn't my takeaway last year when I went to the Cardinals-Rams game, and it wasn't my takeaway this year when I went to the Cardinals-Rams game. And I think that's part of what plays into the fact that you clearly had thousands of people who sold out their tickets to the other side at that game on Sunday.
I'll give you one last point before I go ahead and I kind of leave it at as it is. Detroit Lions fans have waited a long time for their team to get good, right? So when they see an opportunity to maybe if they're displaced, they haven't been in Detroit for a long time, they're living in Arizona for a long period of time, and they see that there's a chance to go and see the team in Phoenix, and they don't need to make a flight to Michigan. They can just drive to the stadium in Phoenix. Hey, I'm going to make them an offer they can't refuse. I mean, if the deal is good enough, you're going to sell those tickets.
It's all about the money.
It's all about the money.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
y'all, there you go.
A lot of Cardinal fans.
A lot of them Cardinal fans might have paid for their season tickets off that one game yesterday.
Exactly.
Probably, right?
You probably had a couple folks that maybe didn't go see the game, but they made some money in the process.
Right. Well, that's extremely. It's disappointing on a level. I think again, if this team had not played the way they did the week before, again, it's not anything we have not seen across the board here in Arizona at all of the games in the Valley, whether it's the Coyotes. I mean, heck, if it was the Red Wings coming in, half the lower bowl would have been red. The entire arena would have been Red Wings fans.
I don't know about that, considering that the new Arizona Coyotes out in Utah scored an own goal in their first performance.
Oh, great. Awesome. The Cubs come to town and half Chase Field or more is Cubs fans. Again, we live in a very transient state. I mean, we talk about it all the time. There's 3 of us on this show primarily, and 2 of us follow teams from outside this area, and then J-Dub's the only one that really grew up here. So you get a lot of people that are here following. I went out and I watched my Browns yesterday. So that's what this is. But man, it's just a bad look when you have a team that won by 31 points. You have a quarterback who had a record performance, and you sell out that team the next week in a game when they had one of the better teams in the NFC coming in, and they really, really needed that support to try to win, and they didn't get the support, and they didn't get the victory. All right, much more coming up for you. You want to weigh in on that? Were you at the game yesterday? Want to hear from you. 520-848-1290. How do you feel? If you're a Cardinals fan, how did you feel seeing all that blue at State Farm Stadium yesterday? DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. We got J-Dub. We've got Priscilla. We've got Robert. We've got Jose. We've got Cricket. And right now, we've got Dragon Ball with everything happening in sports around the state of Arizona and the world.
Wildcat Classic going. They won 3 straight sets over Southern Utah, keeping them unbeaten on the year with 11 wins so far this season. And the soccer club couldn't sweep out their time in Texas. They end up falling 1-0 against TCU after taking the Baylor game earlier in the week. Women's golf, they managed to finish 4th overall at the Mason Rudolph Championship. Carolina Melgrati finished the top Wildcat over the weekend, finishing 5th in the individual standings. Not a great follow-up for Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. They could not find a way to stop the Lions' offense after Detroit managed to go ahead and add a little bit of trickery on one of their touchdowns on the day.
7 on the Rams. Cardinals trailing here As Goff hits St. Brown, who flips it to Jahmyr Gibbs. And Gibbs is in the end zone for a Lions touchdown. How do you like that one?
The Lions got the win. It was not without controversy. The Cardinals appeared to return a pick six just before the 2-minute warning in the first half, but the officials blew the play dead, saying that the clock had struck 2 before the final snap. And Monday Night Football will go ahead and kick off tonight with a doubleheader. The Jaguars and Bills game having already begun out in Buffalo. The Bengals are getting set to host the Commanders around 5:15 Arizona time. Those two teams with mascots with cats are hoping to go ahead and end their winless start to the season. The Jaguars and Bengals both entering the game 0-2 on the year. And that's your 2020 Sports Update. We'll have more for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported at Thornydale and Cortero Farms Road in Thornydale, La Cholla and McGee and La Cholla, and also some slowing for Ajo Way and Mission Road. For your weather, 101 tomorrow, 103 Wednesday, and 97 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Plumbing, they'll help you with drain cleaning, water treatment, sewer repairs, and replacements. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected plumbing experts at CoolWillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's CoolWillies.com. CoolWillies.com.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia, and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond Musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Join David Kelly, Kelvin Ifan, and Glenn Howe at Corbett's this Saturday from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. for the Arizona Game Day pregame show as we get ready for Arizona versus Utah. Sponsored by Coors Light. Choose Chill, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
There are many reasons you might need Dorado Rock and Materials. A few bare spots in the yard, the driveway needs filling in, or it could be that the yard needs a whole makeover. Whatever the reason, if your yard has the summertime blues, Dorado Rock and Materials has everything from sand to boulders and every rock and pebble in between. If you need help spreading it, we have options for that too. Call 400-4233. Dorado Rock and Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Is he okay?
Ron, did you get hit on the head?
What? Oh, no. I was just reminiscing.
Here comes a story.
I was 5 or 6. A scruffy little ragamuffin I was.
A scruffy? What are you, Charles Dickens?
Mama just wanted to comfort me.
Mama?
Comfort. It's why we started Alaskan AC, you know?
We know.
I was being a fuss budget. Golly, I was a scoundrel.
Get to the point.
These were the early days at Alaskan AC, see?
See.
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC.
Ron.
We don't take ourselves too seriously.
We literally just came up with the new Alaskan AC jingle last month.
What? Who's that? Who's there? Is it you, Mama?
Oh, boy. Yes, Ronnie, it's Mama.
Did your little Ron Bon make you proud?
Every day, dear. Why did I even come to work today?
Because...
It's a fun place to work at Alaskan AC. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
Alaskan AC.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona football, along with Arizona football play-by-play. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Rubio on the drive. Waits, shoots. The shot is not good. Rebound Zubats. He loses it. Suns get it back to Rubio. Time. 6 seconds left in the game. Out to Booker. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. Booker on the drive. Goes up. Here's the shot. Shoot! He got it! He got it! And the Suns win the game. Devin Booker at the buzzer puts it up and puts it in. Oh, brother!
The voice of the great Al McCoy, long-time play-by-play man for the Phoenix Suns, 51 seasons. He sat in that chair and called everything that had to do with Phoenix Suns basketball. Passed away over the weekend at the age of 91. We've been playing a number of his highlights. That was the Devin Booker bubble buzzer beater. That really, I think that was the play, that run in the bubble, and that play to, they didn't get to the playoffs that year, but that was really where it all started for this recent run of Suns success.
That was over the top of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's where it started. In that bubble, that team, they needed to win every single game, I think, down the stretch or something, the last 6 games to even put themselves in a position to potentially make it, and they won all 6 games but still didn't get in. And that's when Monty Williams got up in the locker room and talked about, great things to come, and boy, did great things come, as that team gave us some pretty spectacular memories. A lot of people saying, it's sad down the stretch that they couldn't, they never got that championship for Al McCoy, who spent 51 years there. They had a 2-0 lead in the finals against the Bucks and could not finish that particular series. But man, what a career that it was for Al McCoy. Let's hear another one. Let's hear a lot of people love this call by Al McCoy, another game winner, a legendary game winner for the Phoenix Suns.
Kid has the ball. Kid waiting. Kid looking. Kid throws the ball over to Rex Chapman, who launches up a 3. Oh! Shazam! He got it! 1.9 seconds left. Oh!
King Rex with the buzzer beater, Rex Chapman. For the Phoenix Suns. David, your thoughts on the passing of the great Al McCoy?
Well, the thing that everybody needs to remember about Al McCoy is that he, by record, has the longest tenure of any NBA broadcaster with a single team. He's really, in essence, the Vin Scully of NBA basketball when it comes to the longevity with a singular franchise. Vin Scully, of course, did 65 years with the Dodgers. Al McCoy did 51 with the Phoenix Suns, going back to when the franchise first started in 1972. My dad mentioned that he grew up listening to Al McCoy as the only voice he ever really knew for the Phoenix Suns, and the team was actually created the same year of my dad's birth, so he felt like Al McCoy was the voice that he heard the most growing up, being in the city of Tucson, just having that one team that he could really follow in the state. It's it's one of those things that you always wish that you could see somebody get a championship for a team. You know, for the Suns fans, a lot of that has to be, I wish we could have seen Steve Nash win one with the team, or Kevin Johnson or Charles Barkley or any of those guys. I think more than anybody, though, people wanted to see Al McCoy get to say that he got to call a world champion. That was a guy that everybody loved. There was no controversy in loving Al McCoy with the Suns.
Not at all. Not at all. And I shared that you weren't here in the first hour when I shared the story of my experience and having, sent out tapes as a young broadcaster to all the NBA teams, and very few, you get very few return letters from broadcasters specific, but one of the ones I did get was from Al McCoy, and I still have that letter in my storage unit. Those are the ones you keep. I've been kind of joking. We've been purging, and when we went through the storage unit earlier in the summer, and my wife was like, "You're gonna keep these? Why are you keeping all these letters and this kind of thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there are certain things you keep. There's just certain things you keep." And maybe one day when I get my man cave, I'll put a frame of that letter. This was the letter that Al McCoy wrote to me when I was a young broadcaster trying to get into play-by-play. He finished his career at the end of not this past season, but the season before. Here was his final sign-off as broadcaster of the Phoenix Suns.
That pretty much wraps things up here. And for one last time, this is Al McCoy saying thanks for being there. Thanks for being with us tonight. And from the Footprint Center here in downtown Phoenix, we'll just say so long for now.
And unfortunately, that came at the end of an absolute blowout loss to the Dallas Mavericks in this Western Conference semifinals 2 years ago. After that, Al McCoy reflected on his career with 12 News up in Phoenix.
Been a great 51 years, and I'm just so happy that I was able to be a part of this great career with the Suns, and it's in a lot of ways it's a nice feeling. We've had a lot of great years, a lot of great players, and certainly a lot of great memories that'll be with me forever. And happy that a farm kid from Iowa was able to live out some of his dreams and make it possible, and that's been great.
There you go, Al McCoy, the legendary voice of the Phoenix Suns, passed away over the weekend at the age of 91. 520-848-1290. If you want to share a story, a memory of Al McCoy, we'd love to hear it. You can call us. You can text us at that number. In fact, why don't you go ahead and text the word app, A-P-P, to 520-848-1290. I will send you a link. You can download our app, all kinds of great stuff on our app. It is starting to really burgeoning. We got, as I mentioned, we've got a pretty good team here now. We're getting a little bit more content up on our app, and so you can watch this show right now. If you go to our app, the video stream of the program is right there right now. If you pulled it up right now, you'd see the 3-shot of myself, Dragon Ball, and our guy Audio Bob, who's over there, one of the new members of the team. If you pull up the app right now, see, I kind of control the pictures. So now you'll just see me. And right below, there are 3 boxes. One says message the station. You can message the station. That's an audio message. So you push that button right there. I'm sorry, that's a text message. So you can send us a text if you have something on your mind and you want to talk about the Suns or Al McCoy or something else. You just hit message the station and you can write a text message there. There's another button there that says record audio. If you have something you want to say about Arizona football or Arizona basketball, we've got the Red-Blue game coming up next Friday night. You can record audio and send it there. We'll play your audio message on the air. And then there's another button that says share media. If you want to make a video or send us pictures, if you're at an event, you want to send us pictures at an event, or if you want to just talk about something in the world of sports and you want to put yourself on camera, you can share that media to us, and we'll use that. We'll play that on the radio as well as put that up on our social media platforms so people can see you talking about sports. We were talking about the Cardinals before the top of the hour, and I want to go back to this story again that was written in May where it said that the Cardinals had sold out their entire inventory of lower bowl seats as of mid-May. There was only about 2,000 seats left. And again, even if there were still 2,000 seats yesterday, that was still way more people, way less the amount of people that were sitting in the lower bowl of that game yesterday wearing blue Detroit Lions jerseys. This was, at the time, it was the Cardinals had surpassed their season ticket sales total for all of the 2023 calendar year. That was on May 1st of this year. Large influx of folks bought season tickets after the team drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. out of the Ohio State University. They were number three in NFL season ticket sales as of May 1st. Cardinals CEO Jeremy Walls was quoted in this story. He said, "This year is the fastest the Cardinals have sold out the lower level of season tickets since the team's Super Bowl 43 appearance in 2009. It goes on to say the Cardinals made some changes to the seating configuration. They added some upscale on the field. Have you seen the casitas? The casitas, that's a pretty impressive little thing they've got going down. It's like a little house in the end zone. And like the lower level is like the living room. And I think you've got like a little area there for food. And then you can go upstairs and it's like you're on your balcony and then you're watching the game.
There's always these other little things every stadium is trying to do. What is it? The Jaguars have a pool in their end zone or something.
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks have the pool in their stadium too. I would like to see some of that stuff taken out just to give fans more opportunities to get seats to the game. But I don't make those decisions because those decisions bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars for people that are trying to buy advertisement with the state. So I'm not dumb. I know the reason why those are there. I just think that if you try to make those almost a little bit too elaborate, you take away from the fan experience for the everyday fan.
Yeah.
Although nowadays with the ways ticket costs are for sporting events, you can't really be an everyday fan.
Well, and see the thing, and I think the NFL is really trying to get closer to what we're seeing in Major League Baseball, where they're trying to create these more social. Now that's a little different because like you mentioned, the average fan is not getting into that casita without being a part of some type of corporate situation or you have a whole lot of money to buy or rent one of those. But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to create these areas where it's a little bit more of a social experience, like you have at some of these baseball parks where they've literally just taken out seats and created these standing areas where people can stand and mingle and you can get your beer and set it on like a bar kind of table in front of you and watch the game. And to be quite honest with you, that's all my wife and I go to a ton of baseball games. That's what we do now. We don't even really buy seats. But we don't even really sit in the seats. We especially if we're going to a game with a bunch of our friends, we just go in an area wherever we can all congregate and be able to talk to each other. And we're not like tied to seats and you can kind of move around. And if you got 7-8 people, I can stand here and talk to these people. I can stand over here and talk to these people while you're watching the game. I mean, I think, and you're gonna begin to see that in a lot of these arenas and stadiums where they try to create these areas where it's just more of a social area where people can stand and watch versus being tied to a seat for 3 hours as we've come, and you got little kids. You got the guy next to you who brings his 6-month-old to a football game. Why? Why?
Because you got to teach them young.
Okay.
DK, you got to teach them young.
And she's throwing yogurt all over the place.
Hey,
I don't need your 6-month-old throwing yogurt on my wife.
My dad was having me watch games when I was like a year old. I couldn't have possibly known what was going on with football.
Watch games at home. Watch games at home. And people will attack me for this. I don't have kids, so I'm gonna speak my mind. There's places that kids should not be. Kids should not, especially 6-month-old kids. 6-month-old kids should not be at sporting events.
Okay.
6-month-old kids should not be in church. And 6-month-old kids should not be on airplanes.
Okay. Did the 6-month-old kid at the stadium have the little headphones to protect the eardrums?
They had those.
Okay.
Yes.
So
they did have the head. She did have the headsets.
There's protection there. There's protection from the sounds and everything like that. At least there's that.
When my dad played in this league, and he would not allow me to go to a game until I was 5 years old. So why are you there with your 6-month-old? Makes no sense. Get a babysitter. All right, 520. We can talk about that if you'd like. 520-848-1290. My wife always tells me, please don't say that stuff about kids should not be in church. They shouldn't be in church. If you can't sit in church and be quiet, what is a 4-year-old getting out of church? Nothing. They don't understand it. And that was my father's whole thing. You're not going to a game until you're old enough to understand it. Like, what is a 4-year-old sitting in a football game? They don't know nothing. No. You go when you begin to understand it. Okay? That was the rule in my house. Once you can understand stuff, then you can start going places. Tired of folks with their 6-month-old with a 6-month-old at a game with 70,000 people. Come on. Makes no sense. DK on the sports tip. Cricket's getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported 29th at I-10, reported on 29th Street at I-10, Golf Links and Kolb Road. Also collision from earlier at Thornydale and Cortero Farms Road. Some slowing southbound La Cholla at Ajo Way, also at Ajo and Mission. 101 tomorrow, 103 Wednesday, and 96 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
What makes 1290 different than any other radio station in Tucson? 1290 is the home of the Arizona Wildcats, the NFL, and the Super Bowl. Winner. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
In a world of chaos and high inflation, where savings are rare.
Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
There's only one place that can save you up to 40% off your favorite tobacco products. Tobacco Barn. Tobacco Barn. In a quest to unlock the key to savings, Tobacco Barn embarks upon the ultimate adventure to charge no city or state sales tax because they're on the reservation, and to save up to $3 off with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com.
This is not a joke.
When savings are stolen by the evil of other high-priced tobacco stores, there's only one powerful enough to resist city and state sales taxes, plus save you up to $3 with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com. Tobacco Barn. Tobacco Barn. Hooray! And if all else fails, we can always call upon...
I'm Captain Tobacco, at your service.
My hero.
Tobacco Barn, Tucson's most epic adventure in savings. Now showing at Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia.
We all know just because gifts for loved ones can look like flowers, a spa day, or maybe even planning date night. But what about something that will truly last and protect your loved ones along the way? I'm talking about life insurance. I called SelectQuote to secure our coverage and couldn't believe how easy and affordable it was. I'm 40, and my $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. And with their same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. With monthly payments less than the cost of a bouquet of flowers, this is the perfect time to make sure your family is protected.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-596-2626 or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-596-2626. 1-800-596-2626. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
O'Reilly.
Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Like us on Facebook at Wildcats 1290 for all the latest news on the Arizona Wildcats, including exclusive original content and interviews. This is the exclusive home of Arizona football. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. Caitlin Clark's playoff debut did not go as planned. The Connecticut Sun defense was all over Clark in the Indiana Fever on Sunday, winning every quarter on their way to a 93-69 Game 1 victory. Clark had just 11 points on 4 of 17 shooting from the floor and 2 of 13 from three-point range. On the other side, Marina Mabry led the Sun with 27 points off the bench, and Alyssa Thomas put up a triple-double with 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 13 assists. After the game, Clark admitted her frustration with shots not falling.
My shot felt right there. That's why it's so frustrating as a shooter, when it feels so good, but it won't go down for you. Like I said, I'm proud of our team. We battled, we fought. We were right there, and I felt like we just played a crappy game.
Indiana will try to even up the series in Game 2 on Wednesday. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Amber Theo Harris on Westwood One.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Towards the end zone, and it just shy, or did he catch it? It was LaJonte Wester. He scooped it up. He scooped it off the turf. Holy cow, what a play. I can't believe my eyes. In the rain here in Boulder in the Front Range, the Buffaloes with zeros on the clock have made it a 31-30 ball game. Shedeur Sanders has done it again. Buff Nation, you've got to be going out of your mind pending the APAT.
That was funny just because the announcers right before that play were talking about the Hail Mary back in the day when Colorado went, I believe, and beat Michigan at the Big House on the final play of the game. And then that happened to tie the ball game. And then Colorado in overtime.
For the 1-yard line, Shedeur hands off. Augusta straight ahead to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado!
And then Travis Hunter with probably one of the, this is a guy who's not the best player on the field, offense or defense, makes the defensive play of the game, putting his hat on the ball as Baylor was about to score to tie the game again, and knocks it out to save the game and the win for the Colorado Buffaloes. Again, you don't know what you're going to see in this Big 12 conference from week to week. Brent Brennan is not sure what he's going to see this weekend in Utah. He knows he's going to see a pretty good ball team in the Utah Utes, who went down to Stillwater, Oklahoma, and knocked off Oklahoma State this weekend. Let's hear from the head coach, Brent Brennan, on the bye week and preparations for this weekend's game in Salt Lake City.
We interrupt this program for a special presentation from Wild. This program for Joe is brought to you by Coors Light. Choose chill. Coors
treatment and being in the training room, so it was good.
Yeah, what do you think were ultimately the biggest lessons that you guys learned after the loss?
Well, there was a lot in that game. I think the biggest thing was that if you watched the BYU Kansas State game this weekend, to me the couple things showed up. The first thing was that BYU had the benefit of scoring 21 points on defense and special teams, right? So they ended up getting out in front, which kind of forced Kansas State's hand to throw the ball a little bit more, and so that kind of eliminated some of the legs of the quarterback. But I think as we looked at it, we had some containment issues in that game against Kansas State. It's something we've been working really hard on. The special teams, the big punt return, was poorly executed, and that's been a huge point of emphasis for us. Let's see, what else are we talking about? We're just always driving like effort and red line, and like how much can we elevate that in the practice environment so that we make sure that we get what we need on Saturdays, in terms of how hard we play.
Jason and then David.
Did you feel after the K-State game and then through the bye week that there's a change in approach or tone from the players or the coaches?
Not necessarily. I think, whenever you win a game or lose a game, like it's always about the next one. And so, we don't want to be a team that's always riding the roller coaster of emotion. We need to be able to do the work, dive into our process week in and week out that gives us a chance to play good football on the weekend.
David and Brian.
Brent, 7 tight end catches so far this season. How have you evaluated that, and maybe what's the plan to try to get your tight ends, and particularly Kean, more involved in the offense?
Yeah, absolutely. We want Kean and Sam and all those guys to be more involved, and I think that's one of those deals where every game is a different game, and depending on how you're playing or who you're playing, sometimes those opportunities present themselves more than others. But in our previous life, we've always been a heavy tight end pass game football team, and so we definitely want to get those guys more involved.
Do you think there are opportunities there that Noah is not seeing right now?
I think there's opportunities there that, maybe it's a combination of whether guys are covered or they have good coverage for it, or we're not winning against the person we're playing against, or Noah's going somewhere else in his progression because the guy's not open on time or it wasn't there. So I think there's a lot of, we've been obviously diving hard into our pass game and our scheme in the last 10 days, and I'm excited to see what it looks like as we keep going throughout the week.
Did you use this bye week in any way to maybe reevaluate starting positions or rotations where you might see some different people in different spots?
I don't know that's. I mean, you're always evaluating that, right? Like game in and game out. So I wouldn't say that's like particular to the bye weekend. Every week you're looking at that, like, are we getting enough out of this guy at this spot or this guy out of this spot? So there's always a balance to that. But I think there are some guys that can help us in a more significant way, whether that's in offense or defense or the kicking game. And so there's going to be more people playing.
When you watch Utah, what are some things that they excel at?
BYU is just obviously an extremely well-coached team. They've been winning lots of games every year for a very, very long time. They're 20 years into their program build, right? Like, they know exactly what they're recruiting to, exactly what works there. They're always one of the most physical football teams you play every year. The high level of execution, always really, really impressive football team. Every time I've ever played them or coached against them, I've always had incredible amount of respect for Coach Whittingham and that staff. They do an awesome job.
So what do you make of their quarterback situation?
It is what it is. I'm assuming the other guy's going to be back for us, but if he's not, it looked like, Wilson played pretty good. So they just went on the road and beat a top 20 team. So even without Cam, they're obviously playing good football.
Is there any advantage to having had this time off compared to facing a team that just had to play a tough road game, maybe in the sun and all that, or is just not enough? It doesn't really matter that they just played.
I think that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if there's a, sometimes you get a big boost because you go and get that big time win on the road also. So sometimes there's benefit to that. Sometimes there's benefit to the downtime. It just depends. Team to team is different. And I don't think when it's happening in real time. I think you look back and say, oh, that was good for us. I don't know that like when you're in the middle of it, you're like, oh, we need this right now.
How were your results, if you can recall, post-bye weeks when you were at your previous job?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm sorry. I have no idea.
David?
I think it's always easier to have a home game after bye than it is a road game. But
Brent, obviously last week you mentioned you were wanting to focus the defense and work on their eyes and what they're seeing out there. How do you feel like that's progressed through the first week of the bye? I
think it's been great. I have a ton of faith in Coach Aquina and that staff, in terms of just, playing in the secondary and eye discipline. There's few that have done it as well as Coach Aquina has over the years, and so I'm confident that we're going to play better there.
And in terms of your role on game day, how involved are you in terms of the play calling? Are you constantly in Dino's ear suggesting what you want or what you think might work here? How does that dynamic work?
I'm a little bit more big picture that way, just kind of talking through what they're seeing, listening to what they're talking about. If I have a suggestion, I'll say it, but I normally let those guys do their job.
Jason?
You mentioned a couple times using the bye week to kind of dive into the offensive scheme and take a look. Without giving too much away, what does that entail in terms of how much can you change during the season, or what do you
I think you do that. You always do that during a bye week, right? You've played 3 games. You have a bunch of calls on tape, and so you're trying to break down, kind of what tendencies you have, what you're doing on, either what's working or what's not working, and so that part of it is always an ongoing, conversation with every staff I've ever been on when you get to a bye week. This one was a little bit early, but we still had 3 games, and so, Utah has 3 games of tape on us, and so trying to figure out, what are they saying when they watch it, and hopefully we can break some of those tendencies.
What are you expecting just in terms of crowd noise and atmosphere in Salt Lake City, and how was it dealing with the crowd noise with the helmet communication?
The helmet communication was great at Kansas State. I think that's been a good thing. That's one of those things when I looked at the schedule this year, I thought this is a tough stretch, right? You play 3 of the toughest road games in our conference in 5 weeks, right? Like if Kansas State was a real atmosphere, 10 days or a week ago or whatever that was, and then you watch BYU on Saturday night. Like those fans have an impact on the outcome of the game. They impact momentum, they impact the energy that everyone's feeling in the field, and that's why I keep urging our fan base here that we have to match these other great home field advantages that other people have. You know what I mean? And we need them to come out and support and be a pain for that opponent, when they're going through it, just like we're expecting Utah to be. I think I've been coaching in the West a long time. I think outside of Oregon, Utah is the hardest place to play in the West. And I would say Oregon, Utah, Washington, BYU, Oregon State, something like that. Those are the ones that are always the most challenging in terms of just crowd involvement and engagement and the level of noise you have to deal with.
And what do you think has been the biggest improvement in Chase Kennedy's game?
I think he's just getting more comfortable in the scheme. Some of that stuff is hard to, he's healthy, and I think some of that stuff is hard when you're practicing it to really see for the player to feel what it's actually going to feel like in game, But now that we've played a couple of games, you can see him, starting to play with more confidence and play faster.
All right, that's our time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that is the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, Brent Brennan, today. His press conference earlier, you heard it right here on Wildcats Radio 1290, live, as you do every Monday. We'll hear from the coach again coming up on Thursday. You'll hear that live. Brent Brennan's press conference brought to you every week by Coors Light. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, choose chill. So we'll dive into a few things coming up that Brent Brennan said there in his press conference. Again, they've got to figure out a way to get the tight end involved in this offense. It was something we saw a lot of this fall in camp, and the performance but that's just practice. And we've talked about this in terms of a number of different things. I mean, things can look great in practice, but can you translate that to game day? And right now there's a number of things that we saw that looked pretty good in practice in August that have not translated to Saturdays in September and must begin to do so quickly if this team has any shot of finding itself and getting back on track as it begins play in the Big 12 Conference, the first ever Big 12 Conference game coming up on Saturday night. Speaking of Saturday night, wait till you hear what I have to tell you next. Yeah. Get ready to. Well, we were already going to stay up late on my birthday because next 2 Saturdays from now is my birthday. We were already going to stay up late. Now we're staying up really late. TK on the sports tip. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Rita Road near Old Vale Road, 29th Street at I-10. Also another collision at Kolb Road and Golf Links. Weather-wise, 101 tomorrow, 103 Wednesday, and 96 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Welcome to the ultimate playground for online social casino enthusiasts. Get ready to live the Chumba life and play over 100 online casino-style games for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Tune into Wildcats Radio 1290 weekly for Brett Brennan's football press conference, where you can catch up on all things Arizona football this season. Sponsored by Coors Light. Choose chill. Official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics.
We all know just because gifts for loved ones can look like flowers, a spa day, or maybe even planning date night. But what about something that will truly last and protect your loved ones along the way? I'm talking about life insurance. I called SelectQuote to secure our coverage and couldn't believe how easy and affordable it was. I'm 40, and my $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. And with their same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. With monthly payments less than the cost of a bouquet of flowers, this is the perfect time to make sure your family is protected.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-596-2626 or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-596-2626. 1-800-596-2626. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
TK on the sports tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated, following the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era. I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah, it's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
She's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute, sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. Elevate your engine performance with Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. In a 3-point game on 4th down, Nick Sirianni passed up on a field goal 2 separate times and didn't convert either. And Sirianni needs to understand there's a difference between being aggressive and reckless, and he was the latter. Sure, the Eagles wound up winning, but Sirianni should send thank you notes to Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert, Philadelphia's defense, and Derek Carr, because the Eagles beat the Saints in spite of their coach. I'm Zach Gelb.
There aren't many feelings worse than trying to start your car in the morning and being greeted with a dead battery, or being stuck on the side of the road when you don't need to be. 1 in 4 vehicles on the road will need a battery replacement this year. Don't be a statistic. Stop battery problems before they stop you by testing your battery regularly. Test yours at home or at select Napa locations nationwide. If you need a replacement, Napa has you covered with a full range of long-lasting, high-performance batteries for nearly every make and model on the road. So don't wait. Test your battery today and let Napa help you keep moving.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. Final segment of the show today. We got Monday Night Football. We got the Monday Night Football doubleheader. The first, I think we have like 2 or 3 of these. Or I think the next 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks, these are coming up. So game 1 started at 4:15 our time, and the Buffalo Bills are leading the they just scored again. So the Bills just scored again to go up 26-3 now. The Jaguars are just terrible. Very, very bad. But the story here is Damar Hamlin has an intercept. Look at all those Jaguar fans there.
Oh, they're very upset. They're very upset.
with their Trevor Lawrence hair.
Here comes Mr. Sunshine. No, it's Trevor Lawrence is no longer Sunshine. Sunshine could win you some games. Trevor Lawrence cannot do this right now.
Damar Hamlin has an interception in this game. The young man who was practically dead on the field in a Monday night game in early 2023, and he gets his first NFL interception. What a great story that is.
A very scary moment. I remember being at a restaurant watching the game live when that happened, and I'm glad to see that not only is he still alive, but he's able to still play football at a high enough level to be in the starting lineup for this Bills squad. It's been a very, very good sight to see him still living out his dream of playing in the NFL.
The other game is the Commanders and who's the other?
The Bengals.
The Bengals, yes. That is a 7-7 game. Right now, that game started about 20 minutes ago, so both teams have touchdowns early in that one tonight. No Monday Night Football here on our station, and that is because we have got the Brent Brennan Coaches Show coming up for you in about 20 minutes or so. 6:05, you'll get a chance to hear. We just heard from the head coach. You'll get a chance to hear some more from the head coach with Brian Jeffries live from the Union Public House, so be sure to head on up there and check out the show. It's always a great amount of fun. And we have that every Monday right here, 6:05, the Brent Brennan Show. This week's game at Utah starts at 7:15 kickoff. That means that our coverage will be back out at Corbett's off 4th Avenue for our pregame show, the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Myself, Kelvin Ifan, Glenn Howe. That comes to you on Saturday at 2:30. So we'll be at Corbett's from 2:30 to 5:30 this Saturday. It was last game, home or road game. It was on a Friday. But this Saturday, so join us down there. Our appearance, Arizona Game Day, is sponsored by Coors Light. Choose chill. Coors Light is an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. All right, 7:15 this week in Salt Lake City. We found out the game time of the first Big 12 home contest at Arizona Stadium on Saturday, October 5th, my birthday. Bring cake. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the evening. Hashtag, I tried to tell you, these game times were not going to change. And here's one of the reasons why they're not going to change. If you actually, to your benefit of being a U of A fan, you've got a pretty decent program right now. And you've got not only that, you've got one of the top players in college football right now in Tetairoa McMillan. So networks actually want the Arizona Wildcats. And networks have openings to fill in the evening on the West Coast. There's a 7:15 window that I believe ESPN, this will be the second time we're on that window. And Fox has a West Coast window at 8 o'clock. And that's where this game is going to be on Saturday, October the 5th. So it's actually a good thing that the national networks want the Arizona Wildcats, but yeah, you're going to be playing at 8 o'clock. And I tried to tell you that's what it was going to be. Now, you can, if you want a crappy program, you can play on ESPN Plus at whatever time you want to play. And so if you want to go back to having a crappy program, you can play at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus. I'm sure they don't care. But when you've got a decent program with some talent, some NFL talent, the networks are going to want you in that West Coast evening primetime window. Because, again, what I've said all along, primetime plays on both coasts. There's primetime East, there's primetime West. And people in the West, we want to see football in the evenings too. So you're going to be playing at 8 o'clock on my birthday. We had already planned to stay up late on my birthday, but now we're really going to be staying up late on my birthday and into the next day.
But DK, USC plays at 12:30 on Saturday. Why can't we play that time zone? Texas, which is just a couple states over, they're playing at 1:15. Why can't we get those kind of start times for our games? Says the U of A fan that is still wondering why we get the 7, 8 o'clock kickoff times in our time slots.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you on that. And you know, the other thing with that is I saw a whole. I got friends all over the country that go to these games, and I can't count the number of people I saw miserable out in the September heat watching college football this past weekend. I got friends that went to the Missouri game. They baked. Okay, so if they're not going to do that here. They may do that in other places. I've never known them to do that here. I don't think they're going to start doing that here, where they're going to put you out there, and you probably wouldn't want to go sit out in that at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Because, I mean, it was Saturday. It was kind of hot. I remember I was we went out to the volleyball game and covered the Arizona volleyball team, who won again. They're 11-0. But, yeah, you're gonna bake. You're going to bake. I'll go back to that October game, I think 6 years ago. They played USC at a noon in October, and it was 95 degrees at game time, and people were baking. So, yeah, you're either going to, if you want to play that early, that's what you're going to get.
What?
But national TV, they don't have West Coast windows at 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You're going to play at 7 or later. That's just what it is.
What's so wrong about being in an open-air stadium in Oxford, Mississippi at 11 o'clock in the morning? What could possibly go wrong there?
Exactly. You got no breeze, especially if you don't have any breeze. I think I went to a day game in October at the Grove. Heck of a place to tailgate. For sure. All right, I got a sweet deal to tell you about. Let me get to that, and then we'll maybe wrap this show up. We're taking you right up to the top of the hour. We've got Brent Brennan coming up for you here shortly, but we do want to get you to talk a little bit of Phoenix Mercury as they lost yesterday. But Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from the Slaughterhouse, where I understand David Amata almost worked when he was a growing young man here in this community.
Back when I was in high school.
There you go. You can get a ticket into Slaughterhouse for just $14.50. That's half the price that it originally cost you, which is $29. This sweet deal is going to go on sale Friday at 8:30 a.m. at WildcatsRadio1290.com. Now, Slaughterhouse is celebrating its 20th year, voted best haunted house in the United States in 2021, best in Arizona for 5 years in a row now. A bone-chilling haunted house transformed from a 1950s meat packing plant into one giant, horrifying walkthrough. I've never been there. Don't think I'll be going there. 50-plus horror-themed scenes with areas including necropolis, graveyard, an infested boiler room, creepy clowns, and Cirque du Soleil. Not Cirque du Soleil, but Cirque du Slay. Like sleigh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. City meets human meat packing plant. That does not sound like anything I want to see. To make the 20th year our best ever, they've added the world-renowned Helza Poppin' Circus. Helza Poppin' Circus. The ultimate freak show circus will be right here in Tucson for the month of October. Helza Poppin' Circus.
You don't want to see a bunch of clowns at a meatpacking plant?
No, I know. And I'm not like, I know people who are just freaked out by clowns. I'm not necessarily freaked out by clowns, but I know some people that are. They just do not like that whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this sweet deal goes as I'm. See, I'm going to choke on it now. This sweet deal goes on sale for you. Again, 8:30 Friday morning, WildcatsRadio1290.com. $14.50. That's half off the price of a normal ticket into the Slaughterhouse. All right. Phoenix Mercury did not win yesterday. They put themselves in one tremendous hole in that game. The Phoenix Mercury, they put themselves in a huge, huge hole to start the game on Sunday against the Minnesota Lynx.
Outside McBride, quick McBride. Trigger, bottoms. And up ahead to McBride. McBride got the lay-in plus the foul. Gets in the lane, kick out, Collier, another three, and it's good. Gets in the lane, kick out, Collier, another three, and it's good.
Yeah, it was ugly early. The Lynx had a 26-point lead over the Mercury, but the homegirls were not going to go out quietly.
Their largest deficit, 23 points. It's an 8-point game as we start the fourth. Cloud. Here's Copper trying to get into it. Taurasi for three. Yes!
Oh, my goodness. Come on, Diana Taurasi.
Chance to get within one or tie it.
Right here off double drag. Shoot it.
Mid-range. Cloud. And Minnesota needs time.
I watched the whole game, and it's that old adage of the amount of effort it takes to come back from a 26-point deficit. They took the lead. They lost the lead. They took a lead again with about 3.5 minutes to go. The Lynx just finished really strong. But, I mean, come on, guys. Being down like that on the road in that crowd, and they were shooting lights out. 30 assists for the Lynx in that game. So really proud of what the Mercury did. They didn't pull it out at the end, but really, really amazing comeback to come back and take the lead in the fourth after being down by 25.
Yeah, Minnesota, again, they're the second seed, and after the Mercury took that lead, the Lynx would finish things out.
Crowd getting antsy here at Target Center. Courtney Williams outside to Hines Allen to the cup. 6 on the shot clock. Carlton watched by Cunningham. 3-ball. Cash! 33 points for Natasha Cloud, putting the cap on an outstanding night. Lynx get it in. Clock expires. Minnesota takes game 1 of this best-of-3 series.
Nafisha Collier led the way, 38 points. She had 4 assists. They had 6 players with 4 or more assists in this ball game. Pretty impressive performance, as J-Dub mentioned, 30 assists. Let's hear from Nafisha Collier after the ballgame.
Well, Nafisa, a career high for you, 30 team assists to go along with that. What about sharing the basketball makes this team so dangerous?
We're so unselfish, and we have so many scorers and so many people that you have to guard on the floor. It just makes the offense so good.
You guys fought off a very feisty Phoenix team coming back from 23 up for you guys. What was it about their surge? And you said we have to stay calm. What was that key down the stretch?
Yeah, they were just playing with so much pace and so much aggression. We just had to weather the storm. Everyone is so good. Anyone can win any game. And so we just have to keep our head when that happens.
You on the all-ball screens with Courtney Williams, complimented with the three. How clutch was her play down the stretch?
So clutch. It's what she does every single game. That's why it's so hard to guard her in a pick and roll. So I'm glad she's on our team.
All right, so game 2 will be Wednesday night, and it could be the final game of the illustrious career of Diana Taurasi. It's a must-win night for your Phoenix Mercury. Let's get you your Desert Diamond Casino replay for today.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, we've been celebrating the life of Al McCoy, the legendary voice of the Phoenix Suns. The last time most of us heard from him was when the team announced Mike Budenholzer as their new head coach.
Good afternoon, everybody. I happen to be Al McCoy, and I love basketball. Right now, I welcome you to what I believe is one of the highlights of the Suns' entire history that we're going to be a part of here today. And I'm happy that you could join us. Now, my question is there anyone here other than me that remembers when Mike was taking the ball to the hoop at Holbrook High School? I know Coach Vince does. Okay. Well, all of us in this room know of the accomplishments of Mike as a coach. It's history, what he has done. He's had an amazing, amazing career. All the success that he has had certainly has been well documented, and we all know about it. And that's important, and I certainly don't want to overlook that. But to me, as I have the pleasure of introducing it to you this afternoon, is his love for basketball. And so it is a great honor for me to present to you now a coach that loves the game of basketball, the coach of the Phoenix Suns, Mike Budenholzer. Mike, come on out here, and Shazam for you, my friend.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Al, thanks for the memories, and Godspeed to you and all that loved you as well. All right, that's going to wrap up our show. Thanks to all the folks that were here today. We had Bob, we had Jose, we had Priscilla, we had Dragon Ball, J-Dub, Cricket. My name's David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Coming up next, it's the Brent Brennan Radio Show right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Have a great night, everybody.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions at a reported Campbell and Skyline in the foothills. Skyline Drive in Campbell, Orange Grove and First Avenue in Orange Grove, a hit and run. Also in the clearing stages, 29th Street at I-10, a wreck at Golf Links and Kolb Road. 101 tomorrow, 103 Wednesday, and a 96 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Air, they'll help with any of your air conditioning needs. Always keeping you cool. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected air conditioning experts at coolwillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's coolwillies.com. coolwillies.com.
Online, on your phone with the Freedom 1400 app, on your smart speaker, or on the air. No matter how you listen, your evening news and commentary is on Freedom 1400 AM. Ben Shapiro brings his unique perspective from 6 to 7 p.m.
But the left opposes that stuff.
Followed by Guy Benson's insightful analysis from 7 to 10 p.m.
Sometimes it might behoove you to listen.
It's a lineup that's sure to keep you entertained and informed. Conservative talk for Tucson is Freedom 1400 AM.
Tune in to DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290 Thursday afternoons to compete in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge, where you can win money by placing a bet on the right team this football season. More info at wildcatsradio1290.com.
1290 is the one place you can always count on for Arizona Wildcat sports.
Oh, man, praise the Lord. Thank you.
You will never miss the game if you have your radio locked on 1290.
Such a good feeling to be a Wildcat.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Tune into Wildcats Radio 1290 weekly for Brett Brennan's football press conference, where you can catch up on all things Arizona football this season. Sponsored by Coors Light. Choose chill. Official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics.
As coach of the Wildcats, I know the importance of teamwork. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Is your AC system more than 10 years old and costing you too much in repairs? Beat the heat, call Right Way. Get a new system with 10-year parts warranty, 10-year labor warranty, and 60 months no-interest financing. Make replacing easier on your wallet. Call today.
Don't delay. Call or text 520-657-0699. If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
The Slaughterhouse is celebrating its 20th year. Voted Best Haunted House in the USA in 2021 and Best in Arizona for 5 years in a row. A bone-chilling haunted house transformed from a 1950s meatpacking plant into one giant horrifying walkthrough. 50-plus horror-themed scenes with areas including Necropolis Graveyard, an infested boiler room, creepy clowns in Cirque du Soleil, and City Meats Human Meat Packing Plant. To make the 20th year our best ever, we've added the world-renowned Hell's a Poppin' Circus. The ultimate freak show circus will be right here in Tucson for the month of October. Now open Thursday through Sunday throughout October. SlaughterhouseTucson.com.
And this Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from the Slaughterhouse. You can get a general admission ticket for just $14.50, originally $29. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
You may not have any experience dealing with car wrecks, but Lerner & Rowe does. After your car wreck, you need an attorney to make sure your interests, like car repairs, medical bills, and lost wages, are protected. Finding the right attorney is actually easy. Just look for reputation, experience, and results. Lerner & Rowe has thousands of 5-star reviews, decades of experience, and we've recovered billions of dollars for our injured clients. Hurt in a wreck and need a check? Call Lerner & Rowe today.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
We are the Veterans Health Administration, and our hands provide life-changing care to over 9 million veterans across more than 1,200 facilities nationwide. Join hands with us to make an impact in your community. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
KZUB Tucson Tucson and Cumulus Media Station. The one and only home of Arizona football. Pre- and post-game coverage, play-by-play, and live. And the University of Arizona proudly present the Brent Brennan Radio Show. Each week, the Cats head coach reviews the previous game and looks ahead to the Wildcats' next opponent. Special guests join us every Monday night, and your questions are always welcome. The Brent Brennan Show comes to you from Union Public House at the corner of Campbell and River in Tucson. Now, let's talk Wildcat football.